What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's your boy Kush back at it again with another episode of the Just Chillin podcast, call-in show edition. As usual, we've been doing this for the past, I want to say, 4 or 5 weeks maybe, with the Just Chillin podcast. Shout out to everybody in here. Thank you all for tuning in as usual. I see Nate Talks Giants in here. Shout out to Nate. Good up-and-coming Giants YouTuber, also pretty good Madden player. Last night was not very fun. Jaden Dawkins in here as well. Logan's Gaming Lounge. Joseph Balby, Mike Nixon, Joe Yato. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Thank you all for coming in. So, as usual, I'm going to drop the link, the StreamYard link in the chat, maybe in about 10 minutes or so to get you guys on here. But first things first, we got to take some questions and whatnot. Got to talk a little bit about week 16. Well, no, week 17, I should say. Oh, my God. It's week 17 of the NFL season. My God. By the way, for those of you that are members of the channel, the new skit is already up. It's been up since 4 o'clock. So if you're a member, you have access to that. You could go over there, check it out, watch it. Regular viewers will see it sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. So first things first, man. Yeah, let's talk about that. It's week 17. And the New York Giants are going to go up against the Dallas Cowboys. We are hosting the Dallas Cowboys this week. So, rematch from week 5, rivalry matchup. And it's basically going to be one deciding factors of the fate of the NFC East. A lot of us from the beginning of the season said, oh, man, how cool or how, exciting would it be if our week 17 matchup against the Cowboys had something to do with the fate of the NFC East? We said that at the middle of the season. Now it's the end of the season, and that's basically what it's looking like. Because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I really do feel that Washington is going to drop against the Eagles. That's just my personal feeling. I think the Eagles are playing better football right now than Washington is. But more importantly, I'm not sure what the quarterback situation is going to be this coming week here, week 17 for Washington. Now, obviously, they don't have Dwayne Haskins anymore. They cut him. And when he was there, he was like their third string quarterback, if not even their second string, because Kyle Allen was ahead of him. I think Alex Smith is probably who they consider their first string quarterback. And I'm not sure how healthy Alex Smith is going to be, if he's going to play Sunday or not. So I don't know. Even with Alex Smith starting, and he's been doing a pretty good job over there in Washington, depends how healthy he is. But I just think that the Eagles might get the drop on Washington, considering how they've been playing with Jalen Hurts in at quarterback there. So it's going to come down to, Dallas and New York. Or I guess I should say it's going to be Dallas and New York, and then it's going to come down to that Washington game because that got flexed out to 8:20 p.m. Sunday Night Football. Let me know what you guys think about that. In my personal opinion, I just think that Washington is going to lose. So, New York, we just have to, take care of our own business, and then we'll be set. But that's just my personal opinion. Whether or not we actually take care of that business, that's a different story. Because the Dallas Cowboys have been playing they've been playing good football. They're not going to be an easy team to beat. This is not the same Cowboys team that we faced week 5. It's not the same Cowboys team that was there during the middle of the season that looked like they were done for. Like at one point, I think when they were at 2 or 3 wins, I said to myself, and I even said to you guys, I can't see this team, winning another game for the rest of the season. Right? That's just how it was. But they've improved their level of play since. So this isn't going to be any walk in the park for the Giants right here. Shout out to Wolves. I see Wolves, Edward Chan, Ligma in here. Did I delete Madden? Yeah, I have not deleted Madden. Madden is still inside of my hard drive. I will still have Madden there. I will go back to it on Monday as usual. I will have high hopes, and then I will rage again, and it will be a cycle. That's how usually Madden goes. Shout out to David AV in here. Bobby, what's up, Bobby? How you doing, my man? Everybody say hi to Bobby. Big Task in here. Bark Nasty in here. Bark Nasty, relatively new sub. I actually met him through one of these call-in shows, so hopefully he'll call in again tonight. And with that being said, I'm going to drop the link into the chat right now. I'm going to get the first person on here who is indeed Mike Nixon. Let me drop this link into the chat. It should be there. Yes, it's there. And now let's have Mike on. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Oh, he got a haircut. What's up, bro?
What's up, Pub?
I'm good, man.
I can't believe everything that transpired week 16, and we have a chance for the division.
Yeah. I mean, bro, after that Ravens game, I was saying to myself, all right, that's it. That's the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yup. And it's like I want to make the playoffs for everybody to get the experience, but I also want the high draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust Gettleman, I trust Judge to make good draft picks. So I think I'm leaning towards I'd rather make playoffs.
I'm glad to see you there because that's where I am right now. I gotta ask though, when you were leaning towards draft pick, the higher draft pick, who were you thinking about?
Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or Micah Parsons.
Is it crazy to ask or to think maybe one of those guys drops? I mean, especially more so with the wide receivers. Look at last year's wide receiver class, absolutely stacked. Look at how many of those guys, the best of them went in the teens and the 20s.
I want to say Jamar maybe because he didn't play the full year,
Mm-hmm.
but
And Devontae just won
I
the
mean,
AP College Pro Football Player of the Year award.
yeah. But then again, did he really need to show off anything
Mm-hmm. He was already at such a high
after?
level entering the year.
Yeah. So I mean, people may go Devontae Smith as their number one, but I mean, hey, if Chase drops, I'm praying it does, but I doubt it.
Yo, shout out to
I
Tudo Zuri for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Tudo. He says, Ciao, Hub, and Happy New Year, my queens, Paisano. Pisano. I might be pronouncing that wrong. And thank you for all your hard work throughout the year and your amazing Giants content, buddy. Thank you, Tudo, my Italian friend over there, man. Love this guy. He's always in the comments of my video. Great subscriber. Thank you so much, man. I gotta learn how to pronounce. I gotta learn little bit of Italian and speak it back to this man. But go on, Mike. So if let's say we make the playoffs, Mike, right? Let's say we're picking 19 to 21 ish range. That's
Mhm.
considering we got knocked out first round or something. This has been my argument or my counterpoints to people that want to just get the draft pick. I'm like, you could still get somebody really, really good from 19 to
Yeah,
21. Like it might
yeah,
not be a number one wide receiver, but you could get you be talking cornerback number two, middle linebacker number two. There's still
yeah,
positions you could fill in.
yeah. I mean, J.C. Horn.
Mm-hmm.
I I still think he he uh, he can be a productive pro and truly fit as a cornerback two on their team.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even it like you get a receiver there. There's still people like Terrence Mitchell who also plays for LSU, completely killed it this year. We can get him in the first round, maybe. Uh, that's probably it. I mean, if we go wide receiver in the later rounds, like second, third round, Tamarian Terry, I like, and I watched a little bit of the Oklahoma State game today,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a good wide receiver, Tylan Wallace.
I'm definitely
He,
gonna have to check all these names that you mentioned out more in depth when I do my draft stuff.
mm,
It's can we talk about that for a second, Mike? It's crazy. I would have already been doing draft stuff by now. Like you
I
know,
know,
Mike's been
I
my
know.
channel for a while. Last year around this time, I was already doing draft stuff. I didn't have a mock draft out, but I was already talking about players that I wanted and
Yeah,
stuff like that. More in depth. I like the fact that even
mm,
though we don't deserve it, because if we're gonna be honest with each other, the Giants don't deserve to have the playoff chance that they have right now. But I'm so
yeah.
happy that we
If
do have it.
if the NFC East wasn't so bad, we probably already well. definitely already been out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, I mean,
And
did a lot of people not get their wish this year? Are we not playing competitive football in December?
we are, we are. So, I mean, all these people that want Gettleman gone all of a sudden, I mean, after this great all season that he had, I I I think he deserves another year to show that he can bring in talent.
Mm-hmm.
I I have trust in him. I mean, look at everything he's done this off season. I mean, yeah, you go back, Leonard Williams trade was bad, but we probably would have had to trade for him anyway because the Jets probably would have franchise tagged him.
Well, I don't know about that because the Jets, if they were looking to trade him in the first place, that means they probably didn't want him back. But I get what you're saying
Yeah,
with everything else. But with the Leonard Williams one, he was probably hit free agency.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So we could have got him in free agency,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, everybody is iffy on the Saquon pick. I loved it because, I mean, I love Saquon ever since I watched him play.
Mm-hmm.
hmm I knew he would be a special talent.
I love Saquon so much, and it surprised me a little bit of how much the topic of was he the right pick comes up now because it's already been made, and sure we could
hmm
debate that until the cows come home. But the thing is, I just want Saquon to come back. I just want him to have a great year. And these are not
Yeah.
necessarily doubters; these are just fans that are having second thoughts, in my opinion. I just want him to
hmm
come back and put those second thoughts to rest. And you know what? That's
Yeah.
honestly going to be on him to do because if he comes
Yep.
back and then he either underperforms or he gets injured again, then we're in a real conversation about that.
Yeah.
But the final thought I
Definitely.
want to get from you, Mike, before I switch you out here, my man, it's gonna be well, it literally just slipped out of my mind. What was I thinking? I was thinking something so football related. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, Jason Garrett revenge game. You think he's gonna finally do something? Well, he did something against the Cowboys. We did score 30 plus points in week 5, but you think he's gonna get the better of his his student, his protege, Kellen Moore?
Yeah. I think we win against Dallas 27-24, and I believe that the Eagles will beat Washington, even if Smith comes back,
Mm-hmm.
because from my understanding, he was gonna play Sunday. He broke up and his calf was sore, and I'm with this calf injury, he he's going to be sore.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be sore. So I mean, I I think Washington throws them out there. I don't think it's a good idea, but I mean, they're playing for the division, so they're probably going to throw them out there. And I I mean, I hope to God Eagles win, and because I'm hearing all this stuff how they may rest starters to get the draft pick and
I hope not.
everything.
I hope not. If the Eagles don't rest stars, I'm right with you, Mike. I think that the Eagles win this game. Hopefully, it's not just wishful thinking. Thank you so much for calling in, Mike. I love having you on, bro.
No problem.
Guys, we have a celebrity in the house. This man is known for being one of the best entertainers on this platform here. Welcome on, Pez the analyst. What's up, Pez? How you doing?
What's going on with you, brother? How are you? Hey, so I'm going to talk to you, right? But I'm a busy man, and I'm going to answer all your questions. We can have this conversation, and I'm going to be doing other stuff because I'm a little bit of a big deal, I suppose, and now I got this whole new setup, and I can actually do two things at once. I can talk to you, and I can work on uploading my video at the same time.
You have the double monitor setup now?
I do have a double monitor setup.
Hey.
So what I got is I got my Mac connected to my television, so I can have a second monitor. So now I can do, man. Listen, it's so nice.
Pest, welcome to the double monitor life, bro.
It's so nice.
It makes everything so much more efficient.
It's so nice. It's so nice to be a semi-professional streamer. It's so nice. What's going on with you, Kush? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Listen, I gotta ask you, first of all, how were you feeling after Ravens loss? And then how were you feeling? I tweeted at you on Twitter when you realized, oh my God, there's still a chance.
So, all right, here's how I feel. Cool, we're good. Here's how I feel. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about the playoffs. I don't care about winning the division. I don't care about the draft. I don't care about none of that stuff. And let me bring my mic closer so that you can actually hear me when I say this to you. All I care about is beating Dallas. That's it. I need to beat Dallas. I don't care about anything else. All right. And this is coming from someone who's been saying all season, this isn't what it was about. Like the division, the playoffs. Even more than 5 or 6 wins. That's not what this was about. The season was about getting better. The season was about learning. The season was about development. The season was about growth. We've gotten some of that. Not a lot. Not enough. Heartstorm Media, what's going on with you, brother, man? How you doing today? We've got enough for me to feel like, okay, maybe we can have something. Maybe we can make something happen here. So I really don't care. I really don't care if we make the playoffs. I really don't care if we win a division. If and to be completely honest, because we're in the weirdest, we're in like some weird ass times right now, right? Because we can either win a division or we can have the third overall pick.
Yeah, like I think it's like if every team ahead of us in the draft right now loses, then we drop to third, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. So we can have one of those two things. As long as we beat Dallas, I'm going to just be like, all right, cool. Hey, good season, y'all. Good season, guys. It wasn't a great season. It wasn't it wasn't a successful season, right? Because I'm not going to call this season a success. It wasn't a success. This was a failure. We failed this year, but we were able to get better. We were able to grow as a team, develop together, and kind of figure out how to win a little bit. I'll be like, all right, cool. So that's how.
So then I gotta ask you, what was your definition of success for this year, and how did they not make it?
My definition of success was to win the easy games.
Mm-hmm.
Win the easy games, compete in the hard games, right? Because I'm just realistic. I'm realistic about this team and where this team is. And I felt like, okay, we should be good enough to win the easy games. Like the games that are like, yo, we should win this game, full stop, no question. If we would have won those games and been competitive in the other games, then I've been like, all right, this season was successful. I feel like this was a successful season. But we lost too many games that we should have won. Like just straight up, we've lost way too many games we should have won.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the reason why I feel like I wouldn't quite call the season a success. I would say it was a good season though. It was a good season. That's just me. That's me being nice as I possibly can. It was a good season. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Next person I'm gonna have on there, obviously I'm gonna keep Pest on because that's what I usually do when I have one of the tubers on. I'm gonna have Joseph Balby, who's actually a mod. He's never called in before. So Joseph, if you could hear me, you are now on, my guy.
Yo, what's up, Bob? What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I just want to say thanks for having me. I want to talk about, we still have a chance. It's crazy we have a chance. And I thought it was over against the Ravens, and we didn't play well. We played poor. But we still got a chance. I'm happy that we still have a chance. So this not rookie team, this
It's a young team.
young team, yeah, this young team can grow. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I,
definitely-
I think we'd all agree with you here, Joseph. What would you respond to Pest when Pest is saying he doesn't really care about the playoffs? How you feel about that?
I mean, it's his decision. I mean his opinion. Sorry. It's okay. I mean, I want to make the playoffs so this team can grow. Can get a taste of what it's like to be in the playoffs, even though it's COVID. There's no fans to know what it really feels like. But yeah, I mean, I think it would make this team grow even better.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Joseph, I gotta say, you're a lot younger, or you sound a lot younger than I expected you to sound. This man, when he's moderating in the chat, like I thought this dude was like 20-something years old, bro. Joseph, how old are you?
I'm 14. I'm about to be 15.
This man is beyond his years, bro. Daniel Jones guy or not, Joseph? Because that's been a topic as well, along with the whole Saquon thing, resurfacing.
I'm in the middle. I mean, Daniel Jones, it's a make or break year for next year for Daniel Jones. I mean, he's gonna have his receivers. Hopefully, there's better pieces around him to do better. But if he doesn't do well, then we go after the quarterback, and the quarterback could be in a better position than Daniel Jones was last year.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. That's a very interesting take. I hear so many people, and watch so many people and see so many people talking about Daniel Jones and talking about what's going on. Word, I see you, and talking about whether or not we should move on, or if he's the guy or if he's not the guy. The whole situation with Dwayne Haskins didn't help the case, right? Because now everybody's talking about, well, look at what the Redskins did with Dwayne Haskins. And I even see some people who are saying like, well, that's the best move is to rip the Band-Aid off. And it's like, is it though? Like, is it the best move? Because like in our case, right? Daniel Jones isn't a jackass. Daniel Jones shows up every day. He's ready to work. He does his research. He studies his film. He knows his playbook. He's there to win. He's there to compete. From what we're hearing about Haskins, that wasn't the case. So it's a totally different situation. And so like I feel like this. 2 years isn't enough for me. It's just not enough. If we're in a position to pick a otherworldly talent at quarterback and the Giants decide to do that, which I don't think we will be this upcoming offseason. That's not going to happen, not this upcoming draft. But let's say at the end of next year, we just have a crap year again, right? And we're in position to get a quarterback. If that's what they decide to do, then that's what they decide to do. But I don't know. I just feel like it's too early for us to say that Daniel Jones is bad. He's a bust. He's not the guy. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's too early for some of these people who are saying those kind of things.
Shout out to DJ. Oh, my bad, Joseph. I got a super chat right here. Shout out to DJ Smooth for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says, hey, y'all, want Gettleman fired and Garrett gone, and y'all believe in Daniel Jones year 3, a Josh Allen season. So I'm guessing this is multiple questions in one. Do I want Gettleman fired? Nah, I'm good with Gettleman staying. I guess you could say I'm a Gettleman guy. Do I want Garrett gone? Under the right circumstance, yes. That right circumstance being we have like a legitimate replacement. Do I believe in Daniel Jones year 3 for a Josh Allen MVP type season? Depends what we do this offseason. I can't really say on that right now. Joseph, what do you think about these questions here?
I mean, I want Garrett gone. I mean, I really don't like him. And yeah, I mean, going back to Haskins. Actually, wait, no, you can actually go back to this question. Sorry.
Now, answer whatever you want to answer, my guys.
I mean, going back to Haskins, I'm surprised he's even a captain. Like making these decisions. Like, why is he a captain? I mean, I know probably the players voted for him to be a captain and the staff, but like he's making these decisions. He's not prepared to be an NFL player on the field and off the field, and he's a captain. It's like, it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And to be honest with you, not only was I surprised when they announced the captain is right before the season, he was chosen as one. I was surprised it took that long to strip him of it because they benched him like a couple weeks into the season.
Right,
They only stripped him of the captaincy like last week, right before they cut him.
right. Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Because it makes no sense. Why would you have your captain on the bench? It's not like it's an Eli Manning situation last year where Eli was obviously an offensive captain, but that's a different type of benching type, going on right there. That's a completely different situation.
Yeah, very weird. Very weird.
All right, Joseph, any last thoughts before I switch you out here, bro?
Nope, all good. I just want to say thanks for having me again.
No problem, man. Appreciate you being on the channel as a mod and calling in, bro. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
Next person we have up here is another YouTuber. We got Heartstorm Media in the house. What's up, Heartstorm? How you doing?
I'm in the building. What's going on, guys? Hopefully y'all can hear me, man. I'm about to get my sit down spot right here. I'm not, but I have my tools here with me. I got some of my makeup back shift stuff or back. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But I'm here. Appreciate you having me on. Glad I caught you guys. Just finished watching the Knicks beat Cleveland, which was dope, man. My Knicks done won 2 games this season,
Bro,
dog.
500.
500, man.
Can
Look,
you imagine?
I take it 2-2.
Heartstorm, can you imagine the Knicks and the Giants making the playoffs?
Imagine being a Knicks fan right now, excited about two wins in a row.
Bro, that's
Hey,
bro.
listen, that's the same as us being excited about a 6-10 team right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reality, man.
Has it gotten that bad, Knicks fan? See, I don't know. I'm not a Knicks fan. Has it gotten that bad?
Man, listen,
Yeah.
being a Knicks fan is like being in 2020 all the time.
Okay.
Like that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent.
Now, Heartstorm,
Yeah.
I gotta say the win against the Bucks was more satisfying than this because it was the Bucks.
Hey, you know what though? The win against the Bucks is a fluke if we just go lose to Cleveland. So this game to me meant just as much because that's taking care of business. You know what I mean? Like you can always upset a team that gets down for you. You know, like if we would have beat the Seahawks and then lost to the Jets the next week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did lose to a pretty good Arizona team who we wasn't supposed to beat anyway. You know what I mean? But if you win a game you're not supposed to win and then lose the game you should, you're back to square one.
Exactly. So I gotta ask you then, Heartstorm. We just talking about this whole thing. How you feeling, man? I thought we were knocked out Sunday afternoon, and then lo and behold, like 4 hours later, I'm like, we're still in this thing.
Well, I did a video preemptively the past week, and I had already did the math before it even came out, saying that win, lose, or draw, we still was going to be in it. All we needed was the chips to fall the way they did. We need Washington to just continue to lose. And once Washington lost again, I was like, wait a minute. I started doing the numbers in my head. I said, if Washington keeps losing, no other team can get to 7 wins. As long as no other team can get to 7 wins, we own a tiebreaker against all the other teams. So we would have owned the tiebreaker against the Eagles because we would have been the only team in the division at 4-2 in the division if we beat the Cowboys. So once it came down to it, we already own a tiebreaker against Washington because we beat them twice. We own a tiebreaker against the Cowboys because we'll have a better division record. If the Eagles had won and flip-flopped the Cowboys, it would have been the same. But we would have needed more help if the Eagles would have beat the Cowboys because the Eagles could have been 6-9-1.
Right, that tie would have.
So we needed the Eagles to lose first, and that just set everything in motion. And now we're here.
Let me get the super chat here. Shout out to DJ Schmoove once again. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, Pest and Heartstorm. So this is specifically to you two. Do you want Getty gone? Do you want Garrett gone? And do you think DJ would be top 5 in the league next year? Let me get Pest first.
See, the Gettleman thing is so difficult, right? Because Gettleman is an enigma right now, right? Because Gettleman knows his stuff. Like people want to act like Gettleman don't know what he's doing. People want to act like Gettleman's not smart. He doesn't have more football knowledge than the 3 of us combined. Gettleman knows what he's doing. He's smart. The problem is the things that he's been trying haven't been working. Okay, they have not been yielding the results that we as fans want. So, like, I'm cool with Gettleman being here, but I'm also cool with Gettleman not being here. I did a whole video on all of Gettleman's moves a couple of weeks ago, And I said that like I don't feel I feel like Gettleman. Oh snap! Yeah, let's get it. I feel like I'm naked right now because I don't have a beer in front of me. I don't feel like Gettleman deserves all of the blame for this team over the past few years. He deserves some of it because ultimately he makes a decision as to who comes here. Coaches, roster, water boy, trainer, doesn't matter. That's his
water
job.
boy.
That's Gettleman's job. Okay. So it's like, man, I don't want to give him all the blame, or I want to give him some of the blame. And if I can understand both sides. If he's gone, I can understand why. If he stays, I can also understand why. Jason Garrett, I didn't want Jason Garrett here in the first place, okay? I tried to sell myself on Jason Garrett so damn hard and go, well, when he was a coordinator, he was really good. He won coordinator of the year. I can remember, those Cowboys teams looking really good. I said all these things on your show, my show, and everybody else's show that I can get on. I said that about Jason Garrett. But to be completely honest, like I'm not feeling Jason Garrett. I'm not feeling the way he does things. And it feels like when Freddie Kitchens was calling the plays that one week, it seemed better. It just did. So, you said, Kush, that we have to have someone to replace him. Maybe we already do. Maybe Freddie Kitchens, because Freddie Kitchens was a good offensive coordinator too. That's the reason why he got the head coaching job at Cleveland. I mean, I'm just saying. And for Daniel Jones, top 5 leave next year? Simple answer, no, not top 5. No, I don't think so. Hearthstone, what you got?
So after I fix my drink while you talk, because I definitely need one. So I will say this, Gettleman, I'm on the Gettleman train right now. Like, he's done more than enough this off season, and the past 2 seasons really, but he's done more than enough this off season. What's going on, bro? He's done more than enough these past couple of off seasons for me to be on the Gettleman train. So that's a quick answer. I'm for Gettleman. If he wants to retire, I'm happy for him to ride off into the sunset. I would hate for him to retire with this stain. You know what I'm saying? Like the Giants being a stain on his legacy, unless we dare go forward and then start winning some games, and he could be remembered as the guy who helped us build this team. But the Garrett, I haven't scratched my head as much at play calling as much as I have this season with Jason Garrett. Like we see, like, you'll be calling the game, Hub, and you're like, yo, why hasn't Wayne Gallman touched the ball in 7 plays? Mm-hmm. Why did Daniel Jones come back from injury and then he's throwing deep to Darius Slayton 5 straight times? It's like, is it trickery? And I also don't think we're good enough to be doing the trick plays that we do. I think you got to establish something before you start coming out tricking people. Like, we're not even people are not fooled because they don't have to be fooled. It's like, establish you can run before you do a fake end around, because you're not even getting guys jumping because they're not nervous about you running. You haven't established it yet. You haven't established that you could throw deep, so guys don't have to cheat. You know what I mean? So I'm not a huge fan of Jason Garrett. If you would have asked me before this season, did I see Daniel Jones being a top 10 guy? I might have said yeah. Before the season, I seen it because I see the potential in what he does well. When he has protection, what he does well is elite. He's one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league on a straightaway. He's been clocked. When he does those end around and he gets out on a straightaway, he's put up the faster running times than Lamar Jackson and anybody else you want to throw out there. The guy's got some wheels. Kind of similar. He kind of reminds me a lot of Josh Allen. So for the caller to the sub to say, like, to compare Josh Allen, yeah, I see it because I see a lot of comparisons in him. But what I see in Daniel Jones is his work ethic, and for people to compare him to Dwayne Haskins, it's not even a competition. They're not even the same world. They're not even the same league. I get why Washington cut bait with Dwayne Haskins. Like you said, there's no way we should cut bait with Daniel Jones after 2 years. But I can't see him in the top 10 right now because I just seen too many other quarterbacks elevate to that stature. Like, I could name 10 guys better than Daniel Jones. If you asked me before the season, I probably could have named 10 guys. Right now, I think I could name 10 guys better than Daniel Jones, but barely 10 though. So if he's cracks the top 10, it's only because of lack of quarterback talent in the league. I don't know if it's just like him, unless he makes some great leaps and bounds. But top 5, no, man. We could name 4 guys that are just, top 5 is no way. You got Mahomes, you got Rush, you got A-Rod, you got Josh Allen. You got, I'll even put Kyler Murray ahead of him. You you got Jared Goff. It's 2 main quarterbacks for him to crack top 10.
Shout out to Nate talking Giants in here. What's up, Nate? Let me get your quick thoughts on that, and then I'm gonna get the next caller on.
On the same question they had?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll tackle them in order. For one, I don't want to fire Gettleman. If he retires, that's one thing, but I don't want to fire him because I have long held that I don't really hold the first 2 bad off seasons against him because I don't think he was making the moves that he wanted to make. I still think it was because he was saddled with a team that had to be a win now team, even though it shouldn't be, because you had an aging Eli Manning. We've talked about all this stuff before, so I am in that camp. And personally, I think this was the first year that we really saw an offseason that was what he wanted to do. And with that offseason, we've seen the results. Just an incredible draft, home runs in free agency. So do I want to fire Dave Gettleman? Absolutely not. Do I want to fire Jason Garrett?
Bro, he's your dad.
But in all seriousness, I don't know. I think I definitely agree that he's not been hitting the expectations. He's not been hitting the standard because there is a standard and it's not been where it needs to be. I've sort of been middle of the road on it, and I don't think he's the guy for the future. But at the same time, organizations that fire coordinators and coaches after 1 year in such a major role tend to be unhealthy organizations, and that's not really a look I want for this team. Again, it's a minor thing, so if it really is the move that needs to be made, that's fine.
Heartstorm just dipped.
Yeah.
He just dipped.
But anyway, though, if it's a Colombo thing where Judge is sure that this is the move that needs to be made, I'm with that. I get it. But if it's kind of just a 1 year, we're not really sure, I'd rather err on the side of caution with that. And then can Jones be a top 5 quarterback next year? No. One word answer. No.
Let me get the next caller in here. Everybody needs to say hello to this man. Bobby, what's up, Bobby?
Hi, guys. How you doing, Pest? How you doing, Nate?
Storm, where the hell'd you go?
Is he back?
I know. I wanted to meet him. I wanted to meet that guy.
Okay, he's back in. He's back in.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Heartstorm, how you doing?
What's going on, Bobby? What's going on, buddy?
Where you from,
Like that Yankees
Heartstorm?
hat, man. I like that Yankees hat.
Where you from?
I'm from New Jersey, Newark.
Okay, I'm originally from the Bronx. I was born in the Bronx, then moved to Queens.
That's what's up. That's why you rocking the Yankees hat.
Tell them where you
Yes.
live now, Bobby.
I live in Vermont, boring state of Vermont,
I like how you said that. The boring state of Vermont.
where the cows live, and it sucks up here.
Bobby, I gotta ask you, people in Vermont, which football team do they cheer for?
Patriots.
Okay.
Thank God they're out of the damn playoffs. Yeah, they're out of the playoffs. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am a New Englander, so I have a lot of experience dealing with these people.
Yeah. Well,
I know you're loving this year.
we're gonna be crazy cheering for the Eagles this weekend.
Bro,
I'm not. I'm sorry.
I'm
know-
cheering for the
I know
Eagles.
even the-
I am.
I
cheering
know
for
we
the-
need them to beat the football team. It's for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't.
I'm going to. I don't care. I hate the Eagles, but I'm cheering for them this weekend.
Do I think they're gonna win? Yes. Am I gonna root for them to win? No. I'm not gonna root. I'm not gonna root for Washington. I'll say that. I'm just not gonna think about the game at
Pez,
all.
you got
Okay,
something-
Nate, don't worry about it. You don't want to go to the playoffs then. I think the Giants will beat Dallas this
Hey Nate,
weekend.
I'm gonna drive up. I'm going to let you borrow my Randall Cunningham jersey for the day. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Nate.
Why
I
do
do
you
have
have a Randall Cunningham
I
jersey?
do have a Randall Cunningham jersey
Why?
because I love Randall Cunningham.
Yeah,
He's a
Randall
good
Cunningham.
player. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
What do you
I
look?
don't care. He's an Eagle.
I will say this, Nate.
I'm trying to get my hands on John Elway.
I will say this, Nate.
I like players from other teams. That's okay.
Yeah, other
As
teams
a-
that aren't the Eagles.
No, man, listen, Randall Cunningham was the truth back in the day.
I don't like the
Randall
Patriots.
Cunningham transcends. I would say this as a young black man, about the same age as PTA. I think I might be older than you, PTA. It was like you could not like Randall Cunningham when he was quarterback of the Eagles.
Look what he
because
did
it
to the
was only
Giants.
him and Warren Moon playing. And back then, I think the Eagles Giants rivalry was more of a respect thing back then than it was.
a little different.
If you go back to like the late 80s, early 90s, more like the mid 80s, it was more of a respect than hate. Like
He kicked our ass
when I was young,
in a few
and then when I
games.
started being around some Eagles fans, that's when I started hating them. Because there's nothing worse than being around the fans of a team that don't have hardware. When you don't got rings, you're good for one season, and you're talking trash. You hate being around those fans.
Well, the
Like,
only thing
I'm in Atlanta surrounded by Falcons fans.
All right, that's
the
fair.
reason why I don't like the Eagles, what they did to Michael Irvin when he got injured, remember? They cheer for him to get injured. That was disgusting game.
Eagles fans
I
still-
saw that on TV.
Eagles
So-
fans do Dak Prescott too.
The Hub, the Yankees, the Giants are going to win Sunday.
John, listen, man. I'll tell you this. I expect Washington to lose. I
Yes.
hope the Giants win. I want to get in there, man. I want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
I
me
really
too. And they go against Tampa Bay.
That's who we're going to be matched up against right
That's
now.
a
Is
good
that
matchup. I'll take that.
That's probably who we'd be matched up with if we.
I hope against Tom Brady again. We sack his ass so many times.
That would be super.
And listen, we really had that game won. If we could get in the playoffs,
Yes.
Tampa Bay is who we face.
Yes.
Listen,
Hey.
if we play like we did during
Right.
week 8, because the defense played well in the past couple of weeks, the defense
Yes,
played
it
a little bit
did.
on and off. If we play like that and DJ could be good, then we're winning.
Whoa. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. Hold on a second. Hi, Sunday.
Oh, Sonny's in the chat. All right, Sunday.
Hey,
What's up, Sunday?
Oh, hi, Sunday. How you doing?
On the subject of the Bucks.
And by the way, shout out to Diggy546.
Diggy. Hey, listen, I just discovered Diggy. Discovered
Diggy is my dude,
Diggy.
man.
Diggy.
Diggy,
You
listen.
and I need to work. I need
listen,
you on my
man.
channel, Diggy.
Diggy is the new GOAT, man.
I just discovered
I found him like 2 weeks ago.
I never heard of
literally
Diggy.
watched all of his videos.
Yeah,
Diggy's been a Giants creator for years now. I only known about him for a couple months.
yeah. I don't know
Diggy,
how
if you're in the chat,
I
pull
didn't know
up.
about him until recently, and I was like, "Oh snap! I like this dude. This
Yo,
dude, yeah, I can rock with this dude."
He is unapologetically a homer too. He do not.
Yeah,
I love how
he's
he
a
feels
homer.
like.
He's
listen,
like super homer. That's
yo,
why I
he's
need
like,
him on
listen,
my
man.
channel.
I don't care what nobody said. I don't care what nobody said. Yo, I watched the Leonard Williams video. You can't do nothing with that. Look at his arms. His arms is long. Like he's just. Like, what is he gonna do? You can't get away from that. Look at him all. Yo,
Anyway,
his
get
sexy
back to this Bucks
video.
matchup though. Going
Man,
back,
yo.
we played against them. We outplayed them on every position of the field except quarterback. So if Jones could just play well in that game, I see no reason we couldn't win that.
Yeah, we got to run Gelman more. Got to run Gelman more.
We just got to get the run game going, whether it's with Gallman or Alfred Morris. Just actually,
Well, I like Gelman
get him
better
more.
now. I thought I didn't like him last year, but this year he's doing pretty good.
Gallman is
I
playing.
don't think
really
Gallman
well.
like
He
himself
hasn't
last year.
fumbled at all this year. I don't think so either.
I'm gonna be honest. I've always thought Gallman was underrated. I never thought he was as good as I do think now. But
Well,
like,
when he fumbled all the time, he stunk.
Well, Deion Lewis is taking up the fumbling duties now. So Deion
Oh, I
Lewis
know that kickoff with one arm. I could have kicked his ass kicked him right in the ass right there. When they remember the leg whip?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't
Oh, the
have
leg
two.
whip,
He had one hand on that ball, and you knew that sucker was coming out. I knew it. He stinks. Get him off my team. Goodbye.
What's
Oh,
crazy
my.
is we have a returner on the team that we haven't used that return, Dante Pettis.
I know, and he got caught a ball last week too. He finally caught a ball last week.
I just talked about it in my video, in my breakdown tonight too. So it's funny you mentioned that. I just talked about it.
We got to use him next week too. We got to use him against Dallas.
I called Dante Pettis because he had just a couple of nice catches during the game, and like the Giants were down like 20 at this point. I was just trying to spice up the stream. I called Dante Pettis because he was wearing number 13. I'm like, that's not Pettis, that's OBP out there, bro. Get yourself a Beckham Jr. jersey.
Yeah,
a label on the back that says OBP because that's what I was just trying to spice up the stream, but they should definitely use him in the return game more because they haven't used him at all.
I agree. Not that Lewis guy. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
All right, get him off the field, please.
Yes. Zachary, I saw that video. I mean, Brett Coleman always breaks stuff down well, but yeah, that pretty much summed up what I think all of us Giants fans knew. Because the thing about it is, when you have a team that we all follow as much as we do, we tend to see things more than guys that follow the entire league see them.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a perspective thing. And we all knew it. He broke it down well for fans that maybe were a little bit more casual and didn't watch every game as religiously as we do.
Mhm.
Some of those issues, I will say, have been markedly better this year. Like he talked about how Jones had a lot of problems with outside the numbers accuracy. And there have been a few outside the numbers this year, but most of them have been on the receivers. Darius Slayton hasn't been tracking deep balls as well as I'd like him to.
Oh, yeah.
Drops.
If you look at the PFF ratings, Daniel Jones rates really high in the league at like tight window throws and on like accuracy balls, like catchable balls. He throws more catchable balls than the majority of the league.
Facts.
They're just not catching them.
Yeah,
And I have drop numbers, but if he played a full season healthy, I'm pretty sure he would be high up in the league in drops by receivers.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any other team is dropping more balls than him.
The other thing is that when I watch him play, right, I can. It's so frustrating because this very much is the growing pains of a developing quarterback. Because it's so frustrating to we have our checklist, right? We have our checklist of things we want Jones to get better at, and things we want him to do better, and things we want him to improve at. And you can see him starting to check some of those off. And then every time it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There's always some little setback, some little issue that comes up. As soon as he was playing Bengals, he was playing well against those few weak stretches there. He gets injured in all the time tubes.
I'm not sure how accurate this is, but Wolf says if all the drop balls were counted as completions, his accuracy is up to 75%.
I would knock that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yep, I agree.
I think he might be on point. That could be just a thrown up stat, but that could actually be official stat. Because
it was right in his hands. The Slayton had it right in his hands. He dropped it this week.
Whoa! Everybody stop! Hi, Sabrina.
Oh, hi, Sabrina. Who's Sabrina?
How did you not say? Wait a minute.
You stay out of this.
Yo,
You be quiet over you. You have a girl. Quiet over there, Pest.
This is
be quiet, Pest.
This is disrespect. How did you not say hi to? Hello,
hey,
Marjorie.
Marjorie's in the building.
Hi, Marjorie.
How you doing today?
I don't know Marjorie very well.
Marjorie is the stat dropper,
Marjorie
bro. She
is
keeps
the
us
truth.
updated.
Well, Marjorie needs to be up in my stream. She needs to be over at my channel, and then I'll always say hi to her. But until then, welcome. Hi, Marjorie.
We gotta go to Pest's channel. You have a channel
Nate,
too?
I will say this to Nate really quick, Nate.
Oh, sorry.
What I have noticed about Daniel Jones, I complained about it a lot in the first 5 weeks. The stupid interceptions he was throwing when he was throwing meaningless balls. I will take an interception. Like if you're throwing Brett Favre like interception, you're going down the field, you're trying to make something happen. I'll take that. When you're throwing interceptions on balls that you're trying to throw away, or balls that we need 12 yards to get a first down, and you throw a 7-yard interception.
Yeah.
That was the coaching, I think, and learning. Because that was a stupid mistake. He hasn't made any mistakes like that since about week 6.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, he's missed the game, but he hasn't thrown any of those interceptions. And he was throwing those blitz. That was all of his interceptions. Take away the tip ball interception from Evan Ingram and whoever else was tipping ball. Every one of his interceptions would not have been a first down or a touchdown.
Facts.
He threw one in the back of the end zone. He tried to go away. He threw one to the sideline that was 5 yards. Now, a couple of them was amazing plays. The one to the sideline that was like in the dirt. One where guys' knee is out of bounds and they gave him the interception. One to the back of the end zone on like a 1-foot catch. They were almost out of bounds, but they were interception.
Yeah.
And if they would have been caught, they wouldn't even have been first down. Somebody must have got his ear. I'm pretty sure he checks YouTube every once in a while. Maybe he's seeing my chat. I don't know. But
you never know.
Stop making those plays.
Yeah.
And that was the progression I needed to see from him. Because I said, guys like Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3 interceptions this season. They don't make plays like that.
Right.
You could have some success in the league. If you
Keep
keep going.
about this before.
Hearthstone, I'm gonna need you to get closer to your mic because there's like a delay or something.
You gotta lower your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hearthstone has his own YouTube channel. Bobby.
Yeah. So,
So
when I look at a player, right?
Before you go, Nate. Before you go. So listen, I gotta make my exit, gentlemen. I got an early start in the morning, but I greatly appreciate y'all. Johnny, I see you. What's going on, Johnny Kelly? What's up, man? I hope everybody has a good night. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the week. Everybody, please be safe.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
And
Same to you,
go
brother. Happy
Giants, please beat these damn Cowboys. Please. That's all I can. I'll get with all you guys later, man.
And then the Eagles beat the Washington Redskins.
Anyway, though, so just to wrap up what Arsenal was saying, I think when I look at a player, right, I've talked about this before, I think. It might have been on Hub's channel, later on someone else's, but I've talked about this before. When I look at a player's problems, right, the issues you have with a guy, I think there's good problems and there's bad problems. And when I look at Jones, I think some of them are bad. Some of them are really concerning. Like, for example, some of the pocket awareness stuff. That's some bad stuff that I really, really want to see him get better at. But some of the other stuff, like accuracy, I'm not very concerned with because it keeps getting better and better and better. And any small concerns we had in the beginning, because he was usually pretty accurate from the gun, but any small concerns have basically been erased. I haven't seen him miss
more running.
Yeah. And just when I look at it that way, and I look at something like accuracy, because you can't teach accuracy usually. If there's like maybe a technique thing, sometimes you can. Like with Josh Allen, he had a little bit of a hitch in his motion. It was preventing him from getting full hip rotation. Sometimes, rarely, it can be a problem you can fix. But with a guy like Jones, when the accuracy is innate and it's a trait he has from day one, that's a good thing there. Because I think Jones, with the accuracy, he's got fine arm strength. He can run. He's got all the tools. So now you look at the problems he does have. The fumbling has largely been fixed. I know we're not at a place where we can confidently say fixed yet, but it's largely been removed from his game. The interceptions, like Heartstorm said, they haven't been those dumb interceptions that wouldn't even be to the line to gain. So when I look at his problem set and I look at the things we still need to see better, at the moment, there's not a lot of them that I don't think will take care of themselves with a good offensive line and some good weapons. Once those two things fall into place, I think we're going to see a lot of improvements from Jones that a lot of people might not be expecting. A lot of people might be saying, whoa, Jones, he's a whole nother player from last year. What happened? Well, we got him a supporting cast. Maybe we get an offense that works for his skill set. But I think a lot of these things could be a little bit of a quick turnaround. So don't be shocked if Jones ends up playing pretty good ball next year.
Before anybody else goes, real quick, Bobby, I'm going to switch you out, but if you want to come back on, stick around to around 10:20-ish, and I'll bring you back on if you're fine with that, but I'm going to have to switch you out for now, Bobby.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, man. Next person having on here is Logan. No, actually, Wolves, my bad. I have the order right in front of me. Logan is going to be after Wolves. So what up, Wolves? How you doing, man?
What up? So this is the closest thing you'll ever get to a face reveal.
That's fine.
So here's the deal. So if we lose, we're Washington fans. But if we win, we're Eagles fans. Don't ask why I own the hat. Just roll with it. All right. Let me take the mask off. So here's the thing. Nate, we were talking extensively about this on Sunday before you were absolutely owning Hub on Madden. To all the people who are saying it's not even just to get the quarterback people, but it's the people that are saying get that one tight end. I don't even know his name. Get a quarterback early on. I really don't see your logic because ultimately the biggest need is a wide receiver one. And to y'all saying we can just get a wide receiver one in free agency, it's not how it works because they're free agents for a reason, and there is another reason why you can't get like a good solid wide receiver one is because they're most likely not young. And the foundation of this team is getting young players. So it's only logical to get a young wide receiver one out of the draft.
Yeah, I think so when you talk about wanting a receiver at the first pick we take, I think that's probably my preference. But first off, tight end, yeah, like you said, I'm not a fan of it. there is some. It's very much in the same vein as with trading Saquon Barkley, where there's a set of conditions that I would accept it happening in, but it's a slim set. But in terms of the other positions we need, the way I look at the draft this year is we basically need three things, and that's we have to come away from this draft with a receiver, a corner, and one of two things, an edge or a linebacker. So as long as we hit those needs in some order, I'm fine. It doesn't have to be the first pick for me with a wide receiver. I think it very much depends on who's still there. Because a lot of drafting is when you make your first pick, you're setting up what the rest of your board looks like, and it's very much setting in stone more than some people care to admit at this point in a rebuild anyway, which picks you're going to make in the second and third round. So in the first round, let's say we take receiver, the ramification of that is that we absolutely, zero doubt, have got to take a corner in the second round because the third round corners are not going to cut it, man. In the second round, you're probably looking at some guys that can still do the job, still take care of it. You're looking at Asante Samuel, Paulson Adebo, those kind of guys. But if you're not doing it in the first, you have to do it in the second. Versus with receiver, I kind of feel like there's some guys I like in the other rounds. So there's a little bit more flexibility. It's not that I wouldn't rather have a Jamar Chase or Rashad Bateman or someone with that incredible talent and skill set. I really would. But it's not the end of the world if we don't get one, in my personal opinion. Because I know we do need a big wide receiver one weapon. But some of these guys in the third round, Terry McLaurin, guys like DK Metcalf, these guys are wide receiver ones. They can do that stuff. They can make those moves on the outside, and they can be that guy for us. It may not happen in year one where we have a top 10 receiver in the league on our hands, but it can still happen. I will bang this drum until the day of the draft. I really love Tamori and Terry. Y'all have heard me say it forever. Tylan Wallace, good receiver in the second round-ish. Terrence Marshall, also a second-round value. There's some good guys. But, again, with corner, it's a very, very narrow opportunity there. And then, again, just in terms of edge rushers, this class is so bad for edge rushers. Y'all might have heard.
Thank you. I haven't looked at them extensively yet, but just like literally taking a glance at them, I'm not particularly excited about any edge rusher from this class.
It's bad. Y'all might have heard some of the experts talking about this, but this is one of those things where I kind of started hearing about it because I don't do as much scouting as these guys who do it for a living, obviously. I heard so many people saying, oh, man, this edge rusher class is terrible. And I started looking at it, and I looked at some of the guys, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty bad. Because you hear some of these names, right? Like, for an example, just off the top of my head, Patrick Jones is a guy a lot of people love. And the way I see it, he is probably the best second-round prospect in terms of just draft value. Like, he's probably at the top of the second-round edge rushers. And I think when the best edge rusher in the second round is getting shut down by a tackle whose name no one knew in Liam Eichenberg before this year, that's not a good look. There's just not many guys in this class I like. So personally, I know this is going to be blasphemous to a lot of Giants fans. A lot of Giants fans are going to make this. I can very much tolerate putting off edge for 1 year. We got to do it.
So you're going to say something about that.
But for this 1 year, I'm all right. I just don't love any of these guys. Like, again, same thing with tight end in the first round. There are scenarios where I could see it happening. Like in the first round, if all the best receivers are gone before we pick, or if Surtain goes and we have no other options, Azeez Ojulari, sure, why not? But if it's not like a very specific set of circumstances, I just don't like the move. So
Yeah,
I think my optimal scenario is receiver, corner, linebacker, third round. That's probably what I'm looking at.
I was actually about to ask about Certain because I mean I did bring him up in Hub streams like I think back in as early as May.
Yeah.
But do you guys think Certain would be available at 21 if and when the Giants made the playoffs?
I don't think so. The way that he's being talked about, I don't think so. Like, some people are saying he could go top 10.
He probably will go top 10.
Yeah. Heartstorm, any thoughts to add on that?
My thoughts on the draft is this. I think with the shape that the NFC East is right now, I think that puts us in win now mode. Are we win now Super Bowl mode? No, but are we win now competing in the NFC, potentially going to the playoffs again mode? Yeah.
Sure.
I don't see a cornerback. Even if you get the best cornerback in the draft, the first off the board, right? Cornerbacks rarely have an immediate impact.
True.
You know, and I said it in one of my recent videos. Even take a guy like Jeffrey Okudah, who was supposed to be like a generational talent.
Yeah, he went.
Now, mind,
Come on now. Okuda
Okuda
was being talked about like he was like the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, you know, he hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? Now, mind, he's been banged up. He's had some injury. He might even be out right now.
Yeah, I think he is.
But so I look at it, I would say it all depends on where we're drafting. If we can get the first wide receiver off the board or the second in the 8 to 15 range, I say go for that. I don't think an edge rusher warrants, no edge rusher in this draft warrants a top 5 pick. But say we're picking 16 and we can get the first or second edge rusher off the board, I'd go with that. Corner, I'd be looking at a second round corner, or I'd be looking at doing what we did to get Xavier McKinney, maybe trading up to get the best tight end off the board. Now, if we can get the best or second, but whatever, I'm not a scout guy, so I don't know who that player is. But if it's like we draft a wide receiver at just say 17, right? And then we're sitting at like 38 or whatever, and we can draft up to get the best or second best tight end off the board, then that's a successful draft to me. We can look for an edge rusher in free agency. We can look for that other corner, because I just don't think you bring in a corner this year in the draft that is the guy that's opposite James Bradbury that's going to make or break the season next year.
Real quick,
so I don't think it happens. But I
Yeah.
see us getting a receiver in the draft that can be that weapon that Daniel Jones could be, and that could be the second. That could actually be a second round receiver. But I
Shout
definitely
out
don't
to
want to play in
Calvin.
first round, and I don't want to cornerback first round.
Shout out to Calvin, member alert in the chat. He also says, is a Cardinals fan. He says, I get where the NFC East is during this pathetic year, but the Giants are practically one win away from earning a ticket to the playoffs with a bit of help. Regardless, the Giants have improved since 2019. That's coming from an
That's
outsider
facts.
looking in.
I actually
That's
want to
facts.
address Kelvin's comment real quick.
Yeah, go
because-
ahead.
Have y'all ever read The Alchemist?
Nope. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
I should have, but I haven't.
I'm gonna quote it real quick because I think this is actually a really good quote from the book. Any blessing ignored ultimately becomes a curse. And I think if the Giants do ignore this opportunity to make the playoffs, and this is addressed to the people saying we should lose, whatever, or to get a better draft pick, it's ultimately going to bite the team in the tail end because getting just even if this team was 5 and got into the playoffs with 5-11, still being in the playoffs does more than any draft pick could ever do.
Yeah. The playoff experience for a young quarterback is huge. I get that.
Oh yeah,
The Bills been going to the
And I
playoffs
think-
for a
I think-
couple of years and losing, but you see where they're at now. So that's a good point.
I
By the
think
way, just for everyone
even-
talking about this, the whole playoffs versus pick thing, I'd like to point out the Giants are in a really nice place either way, because if we lose this game, we have a top 10 pick, and if we win this game, we're probably in the playoffs. So just want to point out we're in a
You're right.
nice
No other team is in a better position this week coming up than
I
us,
really
other
think it's a
than
win-win.
the
It's a
Packers
win-win.
and KC.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
good point.
for me, it's a win-win situation. Wolves, let me get your last thoughts before I switch you out here, man.
I disagree with the fact that it's a win-win situation because if the Giants do ultimately lose, I am kind of concerned for the future of the team because if Daniel Jones can at least perform better than what he did in Tampa, but actually perform well in a playoff game and possibly even win, I think that could really be like a confidence booster. It could establish himself like, I'm here to stay, watch out. So yeah.
All right, I could definitely respect that. Thank you for tuning in, Wolves.
Also, at rest in peace, PTA. I really wanted to talk to him, but hey.
Yeah, Wolves was actually waiting for PTA, and then Pest dipped as soon as Wolves was about to come on.
Man.
Next person I'm gonna have on here is Logan, the young goat. What's up, Logan? How you doing?
How you guys doing?
What's up,
I'm good,
Logan?
man.
I got a few quick questions. How important do you think it is for this team's confidence to make the playoffs?
I think it's very important, in my opinion.
I think it's important, but I don't think it's make or break. Because again, it's important, but the comparisons have been drawn all year, and they're good comparisons between the Giants and the Dolphins of last year. The Dolphins finished last year on a low note, so it's not a make or break thing. I think it would definitely be a positive I think it would be a huge boost for these young guys because we have a young team to get playoff experience. But hey, Authentic in the chat. But
Shout out to Authentic.
If we don't, I don't think it's everything. I don't think it's the end of the world. I wouldn't cry my eyes out if we didn't make the playoffs. I really would love to. But again, we're a young rebuilding team, and I do think this is a little bit of that shades of the Seattle thing where we got a little bit overhyped, put a little bit too much investment into the right now moments, even though we all kind of knew.
Cub had us in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So
we all kind of.
Let me answer that really quick. I say this now, mind you, the question how we feel about the team making the playoffs, and the question that Logan said, how does you think it helps the team if we make it to the playoffs? I think going forward, it helps the team for free agency's sake. It helps the team for some of these players that we have on the team that are coming up for contract. If we make the playoffs and have a good showing, say we make the playoffs and do what like the Broncos did when Tim Tebow and them made it, where they won one game, beat Pittsburgh in an upset, and they got blown out. I think it makes a difference when you're going to the negotiating table with Leonard Williams and you saying, hey, do you want to be part of this team's future for $17 million, or do you want to stay on a sorry losing team for $20 million? You go to Dalvin Tomlinson and say, hey, we were building something now. We need you to get to that next level, but we only got $10 million. Or we stink and we got to pay you $13 million to stay at a stinking team. I think a playoff berth and a playoff win helps this team a lot for that, because you got a lot of free agents looking in, the guys that have options, not just the guys that need a job. The guys that have options can say, hey, them Giants in that weak NFC East look a little promising. If you think about how the NBA goes, hey, it looks a little promising over there. Might want to go over there and try to win something.
That thought process, Mustafa. That
You know?
right there, man. I like that thought process.
I think my response to that is that I personally, as much as I do think that's a fair point, I do think there is some influence there relative to that. I don't really want to sign any free agents anyway. I
want to save cap. There's not a lot of guys that I like.
Right, because we have such a young team, and there's so much young talent on this team that we have to, first off, re-sign this year rather, with Dalvin and Leo. And then next year with guys like Saquon, guys like Jabril Peppers, guys whose contracts are coming up. These are young guys with a lot of talent. And this comes into a lot of that thing with great teams in the past who have built sort of dynasties, right? An overused word, but an accurate one. Teams that have built that kind of mainstay presence as a constant competitive team haven't really brought in that much free agency talent.
The Patriots.
That's just the Patriots motto.
Yeah,
other teams have brought in some guys here.
They get a free agent. Usually, it's a sort of the cherry on top of the sundae they've built through the draft. And they've built that foundation through the draft, and they've built up their franchise with that young, cheap talent. So
I'm gonna make a controversial statement. I don't want to bring back Jabril Peppers.
That's a controversial statement.
You're right. That is a controversial statement.
I can't disagree with you there. That's a controversial statement.
My only question is why.
In my opinion, we could save extra cap if we do. Obviously, we would not pay him because he would be off the team. Logan Ryan could be our starting free safety for 3 years. Put McKinney at starting strong safety.
But here's the thing. McKinney, even in his limited looks, like, I'm going to keep it real with you, I'm not seeing anything from him that tells me he could be a starter at this point in his career, let alone next year. I would love for him to be.
I just don't feel so good about Peppers.
Listen, and I want to correct my words here. I would love for McKinney to turn out to be the second-round pick that we all thought he was going to be. Right now, though, limited.
I love Xavier McKinney.
Maybe next year he looks different than he does right now. But I don't feel comfortable replacing Jabril Peppers with Xavier McKinney.
How much does Jabril Peppers want over how many years?
No.
He hasn't said anything. That's the one thing I love about Peppers. He hasn't talked about contracts at all. He just plays.
He's a great New York athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You need guys that just put on their hat, go out there, keep their nose clean. You never heard a bad word from the guy. You know, so I will say this, John. I will say this, Logan, about players, right? Whether we see these big name guys or whether we see teams bring in big name guys, all teams are pretty much using 90% of their cap, right? They're spending the money every single season. Somebody's got to get paid. It's just one of them things like somebody's so we can't go every year saying we want to save money in the cap. It's good. Like the Knicks right now. I'm a Knicks fan. We got plenty of cap space. Every summer for the last 3 years, we have cap space. No, we haven't had wins.
Yeah.
So
I'm a
I would
Lakers
gladly
fan.
trade some of that cap space for some wins. So, you know, I kind you got to take it with a grain of salt. Some people you got to pay. We made a right move in not re-signing. Jesus, how I forget this guy's name? The safety that we all hate now who plays for Washington.
Oh yeah,
Landon Collins.
Landon Collins. At first, I thought that was a bad move. I'm like, hey, you draft a guy in the second round. Now he's a Pro Bowler, and you don't want to pay him. But they made the right move. Some guys you just gotta pay, and I don't think Jabril Peppers is gonna be like wanting $20 million a year. I think we might be able to get him for a solid 12 or 13 million. That's what you pay a strong safety of his caliber.
If I am not gonna pay Leonard Williams $20 million a year.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to pay Leo 20.
No,
I think
Pest
17.5 is my max for Leo.
16.3.
Mustafa Pest does. I had to talk him down on his last stream on Wednesday, and he was still very hard to talk him down. But Pest is a Leo believer.
You're 20. We're the Lions. If we give Leo 20, we're the Lions. We paid Sue. Like any team that paid Ndamukong Suh a bunch of money never won anything. Aaron Donald is the only defensive tackle in the league that's worth $20 million.
In my opinion,
JJ Watt 3 years ago was worth $20 million. Is nobody that plays on that front four that's worth $20 million in this league, and is not gonna be. Not even the guy from the Chiefs.
In my opinion, if you're a defensive tackle and you're asking for $20+ million a year, you better be like Aaron Donald, or Leonard Williams did not show up every week.
He doesn't.
That's something I brought up too. Yeah,
he doesn't get a lot of sacks. I will say this: in the weeks he doesn't get a lot of sacks, but he's still impactful. Because remember last year when we were clowning him for not getting sacks and getting a bunch of pressures, right? He still does get pressures. He still does demand double teams. But you're
not
right.
$20 million.
No, he's definitely not worth $20 million. You just can't pay. If we had 12 wins this season, I'd say pay him $20 million. Nobody on the team is worth $20 million for a 5-win team. Like literally, nobody should be getting $20 million. If somebody gets $20 million a year, we're getting robbed.
Personally, I 100% agree on how much I think he's worth and not worth, but I do disagree with the notion that he hasn't showed up every week. I think he has. I think he's showed up and done his job every week. And we've done all we could expect.
He's done his job, but not $20 million.
Right, exactly.
You're right.
And done his job. It just so happens that his job isn't worth $20 million a year. He's a defensive tackle.
Unless you're Aaron Donald, you are not worth $20 million.
Like I said before, with Leonard Williams and with any defensive tackle, I will pay him more than the average defensive tackle in so much as he's better than the average defensive tackle. And he is not so much better than the average defensive tackle, and he doesn't give us so much more production than the average defensive tackle for me to pay him $20 million. It's just not worth it. And I look at an edge rusher, right? Because if you're going to pay him that money comes out of somewhere else. And most likely that money comes out of where you would pay an edge rusher, an actual edge rusher, who's going to produce like he deserves $20 million. So for me, it just doesn't make sense. There's some things in football with positions that are meant to stay the way they are. The economy is always changing. I get that. There's always new players doing new things, but some things are just meant to stay the way they are. And defensive tackles, as a position in the game of football, are just not worth that much. Their job isn't. They don't produce and contribute as much to a team as an actual edge rusher does. So they can't get paid like one. It's just.
I completely agree with this comment right here.
Exactly, me too.
I've been saying it for weeks. I'm like, you know what his contract should be? He's already on it. That franchise tag that has him at 16 mil, that's the perfect amount of money for Leonard Williams. Put that over a couple of years. Maybe, like she says, add in a little incentive so that Leo has a little bit of a little bit more reason to resign. But if we're gonna resign him, I think that's the sweet spot. It's all gonna be up to Leo, honestly, if he wants to come back.
You know what? Listening to her, reading her comment. You give him, like you said, okay, give him 16.5, give him the signing bonus. You know that you structure into the contract, and then you say you give him $1.5 million in incentives. So it's a Pro Bowl incentive, it's a playoff incentive, it's a 10-sack incentive. You give him that where he can get up to 18 million. I like a deal structured like that. 16.5, you can make it up to 18 million if you meet all of these three requirements. $500,000 playoff bonus, another $500,000 10 sack bonus, another $500,000 Pro Bowl bonus. Hey, you got your 18 million right there. And
Also,
but
I'd like to.
I believe he has to see wanting to be a Giant.
And Nate,
I
before
think
you go,
that counts a lot.
Nate, before you go, Logan, I'm gonna have to switch you out right now, my man. Any last thoughts?
Yes, I just got this one thing real quick.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
This is gonna be interesting.
Dexter
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Oh,
Wow,
my guy
That's-
has the Dexter Lawrence autograph. Hey,
Yep.
that's dope.
that's amazing. Did you get that for Christmas?
Yeah, greatest Christmas gift of all time.
Oh my god,
I wanna
you gotta
do a
put it in a
sexy
clear
dance for that.
box.
I'm
You gotta put it in
gonna,
a clear
I'm
box.
gonna get one.
Logan, you gotta get the Sack the Hall shirt. I know I ain't
I
wearing it
want
right
one
now,
so bad.
but you gotta get the Sack the Hall shirt to go with the Dexter Lawrence signature, bro.
All right, Logan. I see the flex.
It was
Yeah,
very
you gotta
strong
give us
flex.
you gotta give us the Dexter Lawrence flex too.
Yo, but
Got the shirt on.
Yeah,
Mike C, though, listen, man. Mikey
But-
C said something about teams, and not his most recent one. He said something about teams not paying Leonard Williams $20 million. You underestimate how stupid some front offices are.
There's always a Jacksonville out there.
Trade DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson. Who would ever do something like that?
Yeah,
So
listen,
yeah,
Texans fans want to kill themselves every day of the week.
but yeah,
There-
Logan, peace out, man. I gotta say, I'm jealous. If your ball goes missing, it's not with me. It's probably with Mustafa or with Nate, but it's not with
In
me.
this bag.
It's in that bag, bet.
With me, dude.
Peace, Logan.
Why?
I got to bring on now, speaking of Dexter Lawrence, because this man just did a film breakdown on Dexter Lawrence. Diggy546. What's up, bro?
What's going on, y'all?
This is the
Diggy
first
in the
time I'm
building.
having him on here, man. How you doing, Diggy?
I'm doing pretty good. I found out yesterday, like after I finished my whole day of working from home, that I got this whole week off from work. So
that's
I
what's
just been
up.
trying to get some film done, and nothing much.
I know we can expect some great videos from you, man, with a week off. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
I just got one up today. I'm probably gonna I've been trying to kind of broaden things, so I might put up some things about some other teams too. But I usually get up 2 Giants film sessions a week.
Sure.
Pretty good, man. So, because we were talking about this man here in Leonard Williams, what did you have to say about him? Since we were just talking about him.
Yeah, I saw a Heartstorm, Mustafa talking about my video. Yeah, Leonard Williams is like Mr. Fantastic with the arms. It's like once he gets his extension and Dex too, both of them, when they get their extension, it's like impossible to block down there. Both of them are like 6. I think Leonard Williams is like 6'5". Dexter Lawrence is like 6'4". And them beside each other it's just ridiculous. So I think you have to preserve those two beside each other. And Dalvin Tomlinson, even though he's been really good as far as that nose tackle, you would think that since Lawrence is 340, he'd be the nose tackle, but it just works out so perfectly. I think Dalvin Tomlinson is the odd man out, and we're probably looking to replace him in the first 3 rounds.
I wouldn't say first 3, just because I think like just a pure nose tackle. And Dalvin he does get his hands up. He does get a little bit of a push, but he's for the most part a pure nose tackle, really there for the run stuffing. I think that's easier to replace. Maybe even in rounds 3 to 5, not necessarily just the first 3.
Well, I say the first 3 rounds because Dave Gettleman is a general manager.
True.
That's why I say first 3 rounds. I mean, I replaced
He like big boys.
To hear the word Dalvin Tomlinson is the odd man out, that hurts me deeply because I'm a huge Tomlinson guy. I think he's so underrated. I think a lot of people they're so used to looking for the flashy plays, and they just don't look at the guy in the middle who's letting all the guys around him do their thing. He never gets caught off the ball. He's always in there getting the pocket collapsing. He's always getting his arms up in the throwing lanes.
He's not one of the captains for nothing. He's not one of the captains for nothing, definitely. And I mean, I think one thing that hurts Dalvin Tomlinson is also we got BJ Hill kind of on the back burner. I think we got him for another year under contract, and he's another one of them guys that's just like he's in a long.
BJ is definitely a lot in terms of a defensive tackle. He's definitely a lot slimmer than Tomlinson, though. I don't think he would slide into nose tackle.
I think if we were gonna make BJ Hill a starter, it would be Dexy slides over nose tackle and he takes Dexy's spot right now.
Yeah,
and I would hate that because Dexter Lawrence is so good,
right?
At like a 3-tech kind of spot,
right?
And if anybody, I don't know if you all have seen my Dexter Lawrence video, but
I did.
I'm trying to focus on Dexter Lawrence, and meanwhile, Dalvin Tomlinson is like throwing people out of the way, making it easy for the two guys on either side of them. So it's really tough. You want to keep all three, but since they signed Logan Ryan, I thought that he would be the guy to leave and McKinney would step up.
Right.
But now it seems like they're either giving up on Peppers in the next couple of years, or they're giving up on Dalvin Thomas in this year.
Right.
Or they make us all mad and they don't sign a receiver and they just bring everybody back.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? If they don't sign a receiver because they bring everybody back, I'm not sure if I'd be mad. I'd just be disappointed because I'm like, you know what? You brought the whole defense back, and that's the reason why there was nothing left to sign a receiver.
I mean, now unless we get a receiver with the first pick in the first round, if we're picking 10 and we draft the one or two guy off the board, you know what I mean, or wherever we're picking, if we draft a receiver in first round, that's the plan. We're just short. We're missing one thing. We're missing that other corner. And no team is perfect. No team has two top corners. No team has an edge rusher and a great defensive front four. No team has all of these pieces.
Hearthstorm, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. It's what I've been saying. Even with the whole playoffs thing, where like say we pick 19 or something, I'm like, y'all are really talking as though we have to have the best player at every single position on the field, man. We just need really good players that do their job. Like if we end up making the playoffs and we pick in that 19 to 21 range, we're gonna get a really good middle linebacker or cornerback at that range that comes in and slides in next to our number one guys. Like I don't really see the problem there. I'm gonna quickly bring in the next caller. It is Joel Yatta. What's up, Joel? How you doing?
Oh, Joel.
Hey, what's up, Joel? I ain't seen you in a while, man.
Happy New Year to y'all and everybody in the chat in case I didn't get a chance to get it. I gotta apologize, Hub. I didn't get a chance to watch any videos this week.
That's fine.
I wanted to get what I saw Sunday with Daniel Jones. It's a great number 8. Okay. I saw a man that learned how to handle the pass rush, the blitz. I saw a man didn't fumble. Saw a man didn't throw an interception. Saw a man didn't try to take over the game and make a mistake. Saw a man that did what he had to do to try to make a play, but not over make a play. Do you get where I'm coming from with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we see that kind of improvement this coming week, I'm hoping I see that. That's huge improvement from what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
But my question: where'd the offense go?
It died.
It left with Odell Beckham about 2 years ago.
I think it left with Jason Garrett. I mean, our offense was better last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we had a bad offense last year.
Very weird, man.
We were thinking like the 20s last year.
I think with 100 yards plus rushing to nothing. Coleman's not getting his carries. We're getting mistakes with the special teams still. Guys are getting open, but they're not getting open according to the receivers if you listen to them. So I was sitting there watching this game and I'm going, well, where's our offense? We start off with 2 false starts, so now it's 3rd down and 30 or whatever the hell it was. Judge is screaming on the sidelines. He's throwing stuff.
Was he screaming at DJ or was he screaming at the ref? I remember being confused about that.
I think he was screaming at DJ because he wanted him to hike that ball because Noname had fallen down in the back. And it's like, that's a free play. What are you doing? You get them up to the line. Livid. And I don't blame him for that one.
Yeah, I think a lot of these problems with the offense, they are legitimate problems, but I think they look worse than they probably are this week. Just because we talked about against Seattle, how we matched up so well with our defense against their offense. The Ravens defense just teed off on our offense with the matchups that they had, because we have a young offensive line and they have one of the best secondaries, if not the best in football, and we have no receivers that can get separation. So they could just straight up stay in man coverage and bring more guys than we had to protect. And there was nothing we could do about it because DJ had nowhere to go with football. So at the end of the day, I do think it looked worse than our problems probably are, but the problems are definitely still there.
You guys think Hernandez is getting traded?
I don't know.
I
doubt it.
He only played 10 snaps.
I think what's going on with Hernandez is that he's still coming back from the COVID. It took Gano. You saw a couple of weeks after Gano was back, he was still kind of kicking short. Cam Newton, it took him like 4 or 5 weeks to get his legs back under him.
Yeah.
And Will Hernandez is a big dude. Like he's like 320 pounds.
True.
So I'm thinking that he's working his way back, and we're looking for him next year.
I was gonna say, I think that Kevin Zeitlers would be the odd man out on the offensive line, kind of like how you were saying. Thomason would be the odd man out on the defensive line.
I think and you see how Myles Garrett looked against us coming back from COVID. He looked real shabby. Only got a sack like at the very end of the game. He looked real shabby from us, and they talked about that a lot during the game. And I think it's funny because I've said this to people. It seems like nobody heals faster from COVID than NFL players. They'll like have COVID 1 week and then test negative like a week later, and they're playing. And I'm like, dude, that has way lingering symptoms. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, as soon as they clear to play, they play, but that don't necessarily mean they're like fully ready to play, you know?
Yeah,
so
in terms of Hernandez, I think I'll tell you what, Diggy could definitely be right that he's just come back from COVID. But personally, I think we would 110% be seeing him and Lemieux on the inside of the offensive line instead of Zeitler if we weren't still in playoff contention. Because Zeitler is going to give us, most likely, we'd like to think, more consistent high-level production instead of just trying to see what we have in the young guys for next year. So if we weren't still in the playoff race, I'd bet anything that it would be Hernandez and Lemieux in there right now.
Well, the reason I asked that is I saw somewhere where Thomas is actually playing better with Lemieux next to him than Hernandez.
Yeah, we've been hearing that for weeks.
He's got a higher grade, Thomas does, and he's only given up 1 sack in, 2-3 games?
Yeah.
But
if that's the case, I would still think that Will would still be here to probably shift him. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but they might consider shifting him to the right side.
I think so.
And then another thing I saw is Garrett was our number 2 choice at offensive coordinator. I think it was Edward that posted in your Discord that they wanted the Bills offensive coordinator.
Brian Dable. Yes.
Yeah.
I want him so bad, but God, frustrates me.
I don't know if
he's so perfect for us.
So that makes me think Garrett's gone because I don't think Judge is liking what he's seeing.
Well, wasn't the story that the Giants tried to interview him, but he already wanted to go with the Bills?
Yeah.
I think the Bills shut him down. They wouldn't allow him to go and apply for the job or however it is they do it in the NFL.
And I think Garrett might be gone too because I'm pretty sure he recommended Mark Colombo. So it's like, you know, you kind of tie them together. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see Garrett being gone after this season. You know, no issues there.
I bet after the more I think about it, I really want Jay Gruden to come here and coach Daniel Jones. The more I think about that, what he did with Alex Smith.
Bro, if it could happen, make it happen. That's my only thought on it. If it's possible, make it happen.
I mean, yeah, DJ's going through his 3rd season as a coordinator, but I think Gruden has more of a Shermer type offense than he does a Garrett type offense. And he's going to be going down the field more because we all know DJ's accurate throwing the ball deep.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
There's not so much one particular offense that I want an offensive coordinator to have. It's more that I just want a guy who's going to be creative and play to the strengths of our quarterback and our personnel. That's all I want. I just want a guy who can figure it out, sort of be the yin to Patrick Graham's yang. Just take what he has, work with it, and put the best product on the field that he can. That's what I want.
So, yeah, and then another thing is if we're picking 19th, it wouldn't surprise me if, with it being a deep receiver draft, if the Giants don't go offensive lineman.
What?
I don't know.
That's not. I don't know. That would surprise me. That's not in my top 4 needs right now.
Hurt got lit up a little bit last week.
He is a rookie.
I know he is a rookie. But if there's a quality, we need the depth, do we not?
We need the, what did you say?
Depth.
Depth, yes, depth. First round pick isn't depth.
Yeah, depth is later.
But
you drafted in the first round. That's
the pick as a starter. You got Pert as depth.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. If there weren't more pressing issues like
wide
receiver, you know what I'm saying?
If the best player on the board is a lineman, Judge might go for that.
Joel, here's the thing. I don't think the best player on the board will be a lineman. I really think the best player on the board in that 19 to 20 round is 19 to 20 range is going to be a cornerback or middle linebacker.
Yeah.
What you said?
Waddle falls that way. Maybe Waddle falls with the injury.
I don't think he falls all the way to 19.
Yeah, but that's really far. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
I mean,
I think you're looking at probably at 19. You're looking at probably a guy like J.C. Horn. You're looking at a guy like Owusu Koromoa, someone in that kind of area. Maybe if he falls very, very far, Aziz Ojulari. Probably not though. So I just don't think it's going to be a lineman in the first round.
Yeah, I
that's
definitely
what
see that.
that's what I'm saying though. You don't know because we don't know how Judge really is.
Yo, you actually do kind of look like Logan Ryan, do you?
Yo, we got Jason Garrett's son and Logan Ryan's little brother in the panel right now, bro.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's
I think
crazy.
the comment saying I look like Darius Slayton too. So I don't.
Yeah, because we signed Ryan to that 10 mil, so that cuts into our money. We're not going to have a lot of money for depth. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be the second year of Joe Judge's tenure, and we don't know what he's going to be thinking of, because right by now he's probably already for the draft.
I get what you're saying, Joe. Do you go in next season and roll that same offensive line back out there? Or do you try to improve it? I definitely get that, because if you said right now we're starting next season off with the same offensive line, hoping that everybody on the line gets better and gels together, I saw flashes of it towards the last 5 weeks, but then we had a game we gave up 8 sacks and another game we gave up 6 sacks. So I wouldn't go that route, but I see your logic in it. If the coaching staff is saying, hey, somehow or another, the second best tackle fell to us at 19.
Yes.
If we have a Laramie Tunsil-like situation.
Yes.
Here's
the thing. Who is the second best tackle? Are they worth, sacrificing a good linebacker, sacrificing a good cornerback to get them? That's what it's going to come down to.
It depends. I'll say this. I think there's a little bit of a question mark around who that second best tackle is. It's not really clear cut, but I think it's a maybe, because they do both have their problems. I think the two you're probably looking at for tackle 2 is Samuel Cosme and Alex Leatherwood, Texas and Bama respectively. And no, I don't think so. Not in my opinion. I don't think so.
Because we're not really going to be able to get somebody in free agency, because everybody's looking for a tackle.
Tackles don't come available on the market until they're not tackles.
Rolling back with this line, and then like you said, you're looking at depth and just signing some depth. It's not going to be too expensive because you're signing them for depth purposes. You know what I mean? I would be comfortable.
I want to re-sign Cam Fleming, and I'll tell you why. I think he gets a lot of heat that he shouldn't get. And I think Cam Fleming gets heat because people forget that he's not meant to be an everyday starter. He is meant to be a swing tackle that plays depth.
You're right. That's exactly why he gets the heat. No, Nate, you're right. People, when they give Cam Fleming heat, they're not attacking Cam Fleming. They're attacking the fact that he's out there on the field.
That he has to start every game.
I mean,
we got a $3 million guy protecting, the quarter. Yeah, so he should be a depth guy, and hopefully Parrott can step up next season and take that place. That's what we hope. We hope that Parrott could evolve and be that guy, because Cam Fleming has had his shot to be that guy. He's been in the league 6 years. This will be his 5th or 6th year. So you kind of like, if he ain't a starting right tackle in the league by year 5, he's not a starting right tackle in the league. Unfortunately, he starts at right tackle for us.
Now you guys talk about it because
why we have 5 wins.
Do you think Cam Fleming's not going to get an offer for $8 million for 3 years somewhere else?
He's not. No, he's not.
No way.
Really?
Nah.
You guys are looking. Nate Solder got 20 mil.
Nate Solder
was an all-pro at one point.
Yeah.
Cam Fleming has never even been a starting right tackle. He was a bench player for the Cowboys before we got him.
And for the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think the need is too great. I think somebody's going to offer him a 3-year contract of $30 million a year.
Joe, if it comes to that,
that's a bad
good
deal.
for Cam Fleming.
I am too.
Yeah.
Because if he's doing okay now with what's going on, there's going to be a GM or a coach that says, I can work with him better. I can make him better. He's young. He's healthy. He's not an injury
but not for 10 mil, though.
You know what that kind of reminds me of, Joe?
3 years, 21.
The situation you're describing kind of reminds me of Javon Brown, the guy that everybody loved for the Giants in 2018, the offensive lineman, who did get a little bit of a deal. I think was with the Falcons first, and then he eventually ended up on the Eagles, and he was just complete trash afterwards.
Horrible.
But he didn't get an $8 million deal. I think he probably got like $6 million or something like that. Either way, though,
Are you going to pay him
He
$6
does
million?
not worth it. I'm not giving Cam Fleming $6
I'm
million.
not.
No.
Yeah,
Fair. Because
I wouldn't
Giants
sign Cam
linemen
for
get
for a
contracts.
3-year deal at any price. I mean, 2 years tops. I'm not signing. Cam Fleming hasn't done enough for me. He was a good placeholder for us.
Right.
He held the place. We
Right.
were playing spades, and I'm the great player, and I just told him to follow suit. He's just following somebody else's lead. He has a couple of he's had some solid outings, but he's not anybody I'm looking to have around for 3 years. He can be replaced.
But Giants players, Giants linemen get those contracts. Look at the oh Christ, who are the guys that just left?
And this was the contract. So yeah, right around $6 million, like I said, 3 year, 18.75.
Who's the guard in the center there that left? Played for
Weston
Syracuse.
Richburg, Justin Pugh.
Yeah, those guys got huge contracts.
They were good.
Were we gonna pay them?
Yeah, the
that?
difference
Who
is
was
I
good,
actually
though?
yeah, like Weston Richburg, Justin Pugh, they weren't terrible players.
Well, neither is Fleming.
I
I'm
understand
just
what you're
giving you that.
saying, but nobody's giving him $8 million.
Yeah, I just have to
I
agree
can
to
see him
disagree
getting
on that.
5 to 6 for like 2 years with the way out after the first,
But not 8,
8 and
not
up.
10.
That's a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
know,
lucky if he doesn't get a Cam Newton type deal. Like if he doesn't get a prove it 2 year, a 1.8 mil deal. I don't see
I
it.
hope he's cheap that we can re-sign him, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised because we all see that money fly out, and guys need help. Guys are getting injured. They're not coming back next year. Guys are going to retire. It's just something out there that some of these.
You know what?
teams
Going back to what Nate said, there's always a stupid front office out there.
Yeah,
but I
there you go.
really, if he gets the deal, I'm not stressed over it because I know there's going to be some other offensive lineman that can for depth.
There's always a Jacksonville. There's always a Raiders. And there's always a Jets.
That's fast.
Somebody will pay somebody some money that they shouldn't be paying them.
Yeah, if Cam Fleming does get signed somewhere, I'm not going to lose my mind over it. I'll just go to the draft and get depth, like a fourth round type guy.
But like I said, we don't know what Judge's draft style is like. We know what Gettleman's like. He likes to hog mollies. He likes some big guys in the first, second round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't be surprised on draft night, or if that's what they're looking at, because we might be able to get a DK Metcalf in the third round. There's going to be.
I hate that you're right. I hate that you're right now.
Real quick, I just want to say, according to Mikey C, this might have slipped my mind completely. Cam signed a 2-year deal, so he's not going to be a free agent.
What?
Yeah, we got Cam.
1 year.
So Mikey C, you might be mixing up your Cams or something.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody pull that up.
1 year.
I will say this to get off of Cam Fleming. I will say this really quick.
He's on a 1-year contract.
Yeah, 1 year, 3.5.
When we first got on, we were talking about the defense and the offense. I want to say this really quick. Where we say, like, where did the offense go? Last year, like, one of my biggest things before heading into the draft was I thought we needed a defensive player. I wanted Isaiah Simmons over Joe Thomas because that was our crutch last year. We couldn't hold teams to under 27 points. We gave up 27 points or more 10 times. We gave up 30 or more like 8 times. I think we gave up 27 or more 12 times and gave up 30 or more about 8 times, right? Yeah. Now, this year, we've been consistently holding teams to less than 25, multiple times 20 or less. So even though we know we have defensive deficiencies, we're missing an edge rusher, we're missing a second corner, we're still holding teams to under 25 points. A lot of times under 20. We just can't score. Right. So it's easy to say we need to go out and get an edge rusher or we need to go out and get a corner. We don't. Because we're also only giving up 20 and 25 points when we can't even get anything going on offense.
That's fact.
Just imagine how many points we would actually be giving up if we got first downs every now and then.
Yeah.
If we actually had sustainable drives. So we went against Cleveland, and people are saying that Cleveland destroyed us. We destroyed ourselves in that game. They scored 20 points. They rushed for less than 120 yards, right? Baker Mayfield flashes in that game was looking like Joe Montana, but they only rushed for 115 yards. They didn't destroy us. We held them to 20 points. We only gave up 27 to Baltimore, and it looked like they were destroying us. So I don't think we need that second corner or need. Of course, I want an edge rusher. Of course, we would like to have that on our team. I don't think we need that right now. We need to fix the offense.
It's
Yeah,
why
We
I've
got to
been
figure
saying
out why the offense
first
can't score more than 25 points.
wide receiver first round. It's why I've been saying that all year long. The only reason I brought up middle linebacker and cornerback is because if we do end up picking those spots, those are going to be the better players available. You'd probably be better off getting a wide receiver in the second round if the Giants do make the playoffs. But it's the entire reason I've been on the Jamar Chase train. I've been on like now the Devontae Smith train as well, because Hearthstone is speaking pure facts. This defense has been amazing with limited parts. It could get healthier next year. It's still going to be limited parts because you're still going to be missing an edge rusher. But with an improved offense, this team is really going to go somewhere.
Yeah, because now if you're looking at wide receiver, what wide receiver would you want? Do you want the guy that can do the contested catch and the 50-50 ball, or do you want the guy with the blazing speed and good route running?
I want the guy
that can get one of them.
I want the guy that could get open, catch.
Well, I understand that, but what are you looking for in your receiver? Because if he's not out,
I just want him to be able to get open on like most of his routes like a number one receiver can, and to be able to hold on to the football because our wide receivers haven't been able to do that all year.
So do you want Plexico Burris or do you want OBJ?
Oh, I would.
I
would probably take Flax, bro. I would probably take Flax.
Yeah, I take Flax every day.
I take Flax. That's not to say before somebody calls me an OBJ hater.
Maybe it's my age showing, but I don't know.
Odell is the most talented Giants wide receiver there ever was. All right, there's no question about that. But I would take Plax. I would take
Plax is like a big game. He's a big game. Like Plax against the Eagles was unstoppable. Plax in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Yeah, even Hakeem Nicks in the playoffs was.
Yeah. Right now, I take size and hands over the blazing speed and the breakaway plays.
Yeah,
I take size and
hands. For me, it's not the speed; it's the fact that I'd rather at this point. Listen, again, size and physicality. Sure, it's why I love Tamori and Terry. For me, it's kind of a splitting hairs because either would be huge for us. But I'd rather have a separator. I'd rather have a guy that isn't going to force Jones to make questionable, tiny window throws every goddamn play. When the Ravens are bringing the house every down of every possession,
a tiny window is a big window because just throw it up a little bit high, he'll go up and get it.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm just saying. I'd rather it not be. I'd rather it not be that. I'd rather it be a guy like Odell, who, and I say this specifically because look what the Ravens did to us. They blitzed like 8 guys on every down because they knew we couldn't do anything to him. Oh, if we had Odell on that team, Odell just goes on a slant and they can't do it because Odell will take a slant to the house and they can't do it. It's just a constant threat that I'd rather have. It's not.
Odell literally did that.
I don't want a Plaxico on this team because I absolutely do. I'm just saying if it was a choice between the two, I'd rather have Beckham.
Joel, I'm gonna have to switch you out because I have Bark Nasty next, then Jay Saint. Then I'm gonna bring back in Bobby. I told him to wait like almost an hour ago, but I'm gonna bring him back in. Those are gonna be my last 3 guests on here. Joel, dropping gems as usual, my man. What's your last thought?
Oh man, just happy holidays, guys. Thanks for the opportunity to voice my opinion here.
No problem.
Have a great day.
Happy New Year's, man.
Yeah.
Bark Nasty, you're up next, man. Put your camera on so before I bring you on. And there he is. What's up, Bark Nasty? How you doing, bro? You're muted.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What's up? Thanks for having me back on again, man.
No problem.
Hey, so I don't know if you remember how, exactly what we talked about last time, but I was a big playoffs guy. I'm going to be honest, I'm not anymore.
Wow, 180.
Damn.
And I feel okay with saying that I've switched my opinion because here's what it is, and I think a lot of Giants fans are a little bit caught up with this. Fellas, we've played meaningful games. And this team ain't it. So at this point, I'm not really sure that what I'm getting at is I don't think the playoffs progress this team more than a top 10 draft pick. Like maybe I thought it would have, 3-4 weeks ago. I'm a huge Jones guy, as I've said several times, and he's the real deal, and we need weapons, and I'm playoffs out at this. So I feel like as a fan, I can be that way. I don't want our team or our organization thinking that way, but I think a top 10 draft pick does more for this team than a playoff berth at this point.
And in response to that, I just want to say, just for people in chat, if you're gonna hate on this man, don't hate on him for changing his opinion. Hate on the opinion itself, because a lot of people just get heat for changing an opinion. And listen, don't do it on a dime. Don't be a bandwagon. But everyone should always reserve the right to change your opinion when presented with better evidence. So that's not the problem here. In my opinion, yeah, what you're saying is totally valid. I get it. I think it's a fair point. It's an opinion thing. Would you rather have the playoff experience? Would you rather have the pick? Personally, I think I'd rather have the playoff experience. And I definitely, I'll say I wouldn't root for the Giants to lose, but I get what you're saying.
No, and I'm not. Yeah,
I'm not accusing you of it. I'm just saying it's a valid opinion, and it is a matter of opinion. So I think I'd rather have the playoff berth. Plus, on top of that, I just want to beat the goddamn Cowboys. But
no, I'm with you. But here's the thing: don't you guys think we've played meaningful games and we've seen this team? You know what I mean?
Well, let me answer this to that, because I locked in on that when you said we played meaningful games. First of all, what's up, Bart Nasty? I like the name.
What's going on?
I don't think this team has played meaningful games. The Giants, as a fan base, we've had meaningful games before. I don't think this team has had meaningful games because we've been bad. Like, everybody on this team has been on a losing Giants team. We don't have any players from the winning or even the season where we actually went to the playoffs era. I don't think any player is left from the Eli Manning team that last went to the playoffs.
I'm just talking about the last 3 weeks, though. You know what I mean? These have basically been playoff games. You know what I mean?
They seem like playoff games because we are in a do or die. Like, let's say this. Until we won the 4th straight game, none of them games was meaningful. Well, when we won our 3rd game, right? It was like, oh, wow, we're on a 2-game win streak. Was that a meaningful game? No. We won our 4th game. Was that a meaningful game? No. It didn't become meaningful until it was like, wow, we got 5 wins. We could actually make the playoffs. So I don't really think those games were meaningful, because if you win one of those games and then lose the next week, you're out of it again. So I think mentally, because is it playoff experience if you go to the playoffs and then get blown out? Not really. But I think for them players to have that week where they can feel like they won, they accomplished something, to get that feel of what it feels like if you've never had it, I think that means something. You know, I really do.
And I was with that, but does that I don't know.
The comparison of us getting now, mind you, if we don't make the playoffs and you say we don't make the playoffs and we can get the 3rd pick in the draft, or we make the playoffs and get 20, that's a leap. But if you're talking about from 10 to 18, if you're saying we don't make the playoffs, we get the 8th pick. If we make the playoffs, we get the 7th. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we don't make if we lose to the Cowboys and we could drop all the way to 4th pick, then I'll be like, you know what, Bark Nasty, you got a point. Yeah. If I can go from 20 to 4, I might be shaking your hand saying, you know, Cowboys ain't that bad. I wouldn't mind losing to them, but nah, man. If it's the difference between the 10th pick and the 20th pick, I'll take the playoffs.
I hear that.
Yeah, I think next week is going to be the most meaningful game. I mean, this is a literally win and you're in the playoffs. So I think just winning that game will be big for at least Daniel Jones and the rest of the young players and Joe Judge.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And like I said, I'm not out here looking. If we make the playoffs, I'm pumped. I'm amped. I'm sure I'm watching that game. I'm looking at this team and what we have now, and I've switched my opinion just based on the last 4 weeks of thinking that a playoff game and the playoff experience doesn't progress this team more than a top 10 pick. And that could be my own bias based on what I think our needs are, which is weapons. A big number one, excuse me. And I don't think we're getting that at 19 plus,
Sure.
Farther back. And maybe that's why, I'm leaning towards, hey, number 3 through 10 sounds real nice for this team because it pushes this team forward. I just don't know if we get what we need with a playoff berth. And I'm a pretty optimistic fan, but
Bark Nasty, let me talk to you for a second. Here's what I'm going to say. I stay pretty quiet throughout this. And Calvin and Authentic, a comment that I highlighted by him, brought up a couple of points as to why I really want to make the playoffs. One, the chemistry thing that he mentioned, Hearthstone brought up the development and whatnot. But also, two, I think I think that a lot of fans, you know, and just general NFL fans value draft picks a little too much, right? Going back to what I was saying, at 19 to 21, you could still get a good player. I think the draft picks are just being valued a little too much. Justin Jefferson was taken 22 overall, everybody. Was he not one of the best, if not the best wide receivers taken out of the draft class so far, the way it's looking?
I
You could
would've
still
taken
get a
Jefferson
really
first.
good player at that spot. And we're just talking first round here, right? Now, obviously, the whole thing is that with the first round, you have it's a lot more. The probability of you hitting on somebody and having a great player is higher in the first round than, say, the third or fourth round. That's not to say you can't find that player in the third or fourth. But let's not forget, like, it's not like 19 to 20 is picking in the third round. It's still the first round. You're still getting a really good, high caliber player there. That's why I'm like, that's why I want to make the playoffs so much. Like, the draft picks don't matter to me as much because I know we could still get somebody good. What does matter to me is that chemistry and that development. That's where I'm standing on it.
Yeah, I think you make a fair point, but at the same time, let's not go too far and make the mistake of saying that the 8th overall pick isn't a fair leap better than the 19th overall pick, because it is. At the end of the day, picks are valued the way they are for a reason. It's not just people whistling Dixie. And you look at the prospects that are available, right? There are better prospects there. It's just the way it is. The draft is structured in a very specific way for a very specific reason. So I think
unless you draft terribly, I've seen some 7 picks. Anything can happen, but I've seen some teams draft like a receiver at number 6, and the guy has 30 catches in two or 3 years. So, but go ahead. You got a point. You're right on that. You're definitely right.
I think receiver, by the way, receiver is so receiver is one of those positions at different places on the draft board. You can hit on a wide receiver 1 anywhere in the draft, just about. It's different from some other positions. I think when it comes to drafting different positions on the football field, every single position is a little bit different. There's nuances to how you draft and how you structure a team at different positions. And with receiver, this is one of those picks where, let me put it this way, I would much rather have, say, the 10 than the 18. But if you are dead set on taking a receiver in the first round, the difference between those two valuations of the picks becomes much more minute, and it becomes much less important because, like we've said, a receiver can hit from anywhere. And again, I was talking about this earlier. Just look at the third round receivers that are doing well right now. You got Terry McLaurin and DK Metcalf, 2 of the best young receivers in the league. Look at one of the best free agents coming out is Kenny Golladay. He was, a second-round pick? Allen Robinson was a third-round pick. It's just, when it comes to receivers specifically, if you are dead set, like Authentic is, on taking a receiver in the first round, then it almost doesn't matter. But if you aren't dead set on that, if you're going to pick, say, an offensive tackle, the difference is the entire league of difference. So I think it very much depends on the position. If you're going to take, say, a corner, it definitely matters. But if you're dead set on a receiver, I would so much rather have a playoff berth. I think at that point, it almost doesn't matter. So, yeah, at that point, sure.
Yeah, I think people are really –
this is different.
Yeah, I think people are really dead set on taking that receiver top 10 because it feels like we're almost signing a free agent. Because when you look at Jamar Chase and you look at Devontae Smith and even Kyle Pitts, they're so polished, and it's like they could actually help this team improve day one. If you take a receiver in the third round, even Terry McLaurin, he was really good, but he started to become better as the season went on.
Sure.
Like the second half of the season. People are like becoming impatient because we were used to Odell for years and now we don't have that. And I think they just want it back immediately. I want it back immediately. I want Jamar Chase.
Right. And I'll tell you what, I think that brings up an excellent point, which is the difference between Jamar Chase and most other receivers in the draft. Because let's be real, last year was one of the most highly touted receiver classes we've seen in a while, but there was not a single Jamar Chase prospect in that class. So if we're going to talk about the difference between 18 and 10, we're still not talking about Jamar Chase because Jamar Chase has a chance to be a top 5 pick. Jamar Chase is an absolute beast of a prospect, and anyone that hasn't even watched his film probably already knows that. So if we're going to talk about Jamar Chase, that man deserves a conversation of his own. But outside of him, because I don't even think, even if we lose this week, I don't think we're going to get him. I don't think we're going to be high enough. But even if we're going to talk about Jamar Chase, that's a different story. Outside of him, because personally I think it's irrelevant. I don't think we have a shot at him. But outside of Jamar Chase, I don't care.
Real quick, I got to switch Bark Nasty out here to get Jay Saint in here. Barknast, any last thoughts, man?
Garrett out.
I agree with that. That's something I would agree with. Haven't been a fan of him since
Garrett
like week
out and
4.
build around Jones. I think that's the other reason I'm so desperate, man, is weapons. I'm big on thinking this team is win now. I think the team's ready to win now, especially in this division and in this conference. And this quarterback needs a chance. I keep seeing, everybody's goo gaga over Herbert. And if you look at their numbers, compare them to Jones' rookie year, and nobody was really talking about Jones that year. I said it last time I was on. Jones shatters that rookie record if he plays a full season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Garrett is a huge part of his regression. And no Saquon and no weapons. And people need to come outside about Shermer's play calling because, Jones was a different animal under him, and I think Garrett's the problem.
Yo, real quick, everybody stop. I made a video on Monday that was basically saying this. Shout out to David Searby for the $5 super chat. He said the 7-9 Seahawks got blown out 3 games leading to their last game against the Rams, and look at how that one playoff game affected the franchise win. Now, I said, of course, the Seahawks went on to have that legendary, was it a 2011 or 2012 draft class right around the same time as that because they were in the playoffs in 2010, or was it 2011? Whatever the case is, you can't tell me that one playoff game did not have an impact on that Seattle team. For the very least, it was the birth of beast mode. From that point on, Marshawn Lynch was one of the better backs in the league for, that short, 5-year period. I made a video on Monday basically saying this, why I want to make the playoffs. I even brought up the Carolina Panthers, the 7-8-1 Panthers. The very next year, they went 15-1. These listen, indirectly or directly, I completely believe those games had an effect on those teams. So I do want to say that. Bark Nasty, shout out once again. Thank you, my man. Have a good one.
Appreciate y'all. Later.
All right, man.
So ain't nobody got nothing to say to that Seahawks thing? All right.
I'm sorry. I'm talking to Authentic.
Hey, you nailed it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You nailed that.
I bet. Let me bring on both Jay Saint and Bobby, because Bobby's been waiting for a while. So, Jay Saint, how you doing, man?
I finally get to talk to Jay Saint. I never talked to that guy before. Nice to meet you.
Look at this good-looking chunk of humanity that is the Giants community right now.
Yeah, we love the Giants all the way. Yes, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yes. Let me just remind everybody real quick. We're playing against the Cowboys.
The Cowgirls.
Mm-hmm. And then we might have an opportunity to knock out Tom Brady and Tom Brady's career on a very low note.
Yes.
Facts.
So come on, let's be pumped that we have an opportunity.
Yes, we are going to be pumped
to do this.
Man, just seeing Tom Brady on the ground 7-8 times, that would be something.
I agree with that. 7 or 8 times. I agree with that. Hi, Diggy. I remember you.
On, Bob? Yeah,
nice talking to you, Diggy. You're a nice guy, too. I remember you.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
So, Jason, what topic you want to tackle first, man?
What's that?
What topic you want to tackle first?
Okay, I wanted to tackle something that we haven't talked about yet, at least not when I popped in. The one position we haven't really zeroed in on yet that I think we should, no one's talked about it, the backup quarterback position going into next year.
Yes, I agree.
Well, that's interesting. I guess I've always just assumed we'd get Colt McCoy back or something.
I don't want him. No.
Colt McCoy is a good backup, yo. I feel like people.
I wanted Teddy Bridgewater.
Backup.
Listen, I understand he won that one game against Seattle, but it wasn't enough.
Here's the thing.
To me, is a mentor, not a backup. I think he served his purpose.
Here's the thing. To what Bobby's saying. Bobby says he wants Teddy Bridgewater. The thing is, I don't want Teddy Bridgewater because he's a legitimate threat to Daniel Jones's job. I don't want a quarterback that could actually DJ's thinking in the back of his mind, oh no, I could legitimately be benched for a long period of time because this guy comes in and he'll be good. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, but he's the back. He just said they need a veteran backup. That's why I wanted Teddy Bridgewater last year.
But he's a starter now.
Yeah, I know that because the stupid Giants could have got them from the Jets right there at Giant Stadium. They didn't do that. The Saints picked them up. That was so stupid.
Backup quarterback, I say Tyrod Taylor if he heals back from his liver
Yeah.
injury.
Jameis
That's a solid
that's a
backup.
good call.
Guy who's been a starter. I don't think he gets another starting opportunity in the league. I don't think Daniel Jones is looking over his shoulder. He's a guy that has proven he can win games. Not ideal. I would like a guy like Colt McCoy, or a Ryan Fitzpatrick type guy to be the backup quarterback.
What about Brissett?
There we go. Jacoby Brissett is another one.
But you don't want anybody that's a threat in any way, shape, or form to
You
a
don't
quarterback that's
But
in his
none of
third
those guys
year.
you just talked about, I don't think any of them are threats.
I think Teddy is a threat.
I mean,
But all
Teddy's.
the other
I don't
ones-
think
Yeah,
so.
Teddy is definitely a threat.
If they were to
Teddy
bring
is-
in Marcus Mariota, he'd be a threat.
Yeah, too young.
I want to bring someone in here who can run at least, replace the running aspect of DJ's game. I think with Colt McCoy, we lost that a little bit. But when you look at him, I mean, Marcus Mariota, he's a threat. Teddy Bridgewater is not really that much of a runner anymore after the injury. So, I mean, maybe it would take a lot of looking, but I think you really can't
What about
have
Josh
a good
Rosen?
backup. You really
Josh
can't have a
Rosen?
good backup until
No,
you
no,
have
no. Like I said, I think Winston, personally,
No.
why not?
Nah,
As a
Winston
backup?
actually, no,
Threat.
he's actually somebody that
No,
might get
Carson
shot.
Wentz.
I don't want him.
Carson Wentz stinks this year, but he's a still NFL starting quarterback. He could
Hey, yo,
start
I-
on 5 or 6 other teams.
Aeon Paul just said Haskins.
I think you said Winston, not
No, Winston, Jameis Winston.
yeah.
I said somebody in the chat just said
He's
Haskins.
good. Haskins
No, I
stinks.
like the idea of Tyrod Taylor, honestly.
Yeah,
Tyrod
Tyra or Brissett. Brissett's good.
Yeah. Just someone just an upgrade over McCoy. That's all.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, my only caveat is a good backup quarterback. Obviously, you always want a good one, just as long as it's not a threat, and I'm there for it.
Yeah, like I was
Honestly,
saying,
I think you're kind of asking for something that doesn't exist. A good backup that isn't a threat. At this stage, that's not really a thing. I think I'd rather just say at this point, I will tolerate not having a good backup option for 1 year until Jones can get to a point where nobody's going to be a threat. Then we can bring in a guy that's going to be good enough to be good in backup roles. But for now, let's just stick with like an Alex Tanney, someone that just
No, I'm not.
we're not
No,
going
he stinks. I wouldn't like him.
yeah, it's at the point to where you just take someone that can help DJ develop.
Yeah.
Because if he's not an elite guy, then I mean, if you bring in anybody that's good, then that's always going to be a
And
threat.
that's why I dig you.
I
That's
think-
why I assumed we were just gonna stick with McCoy. I think that might be the
Yeah.
play, just because he is that mentor.
I think we actually need a player. I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about a backup quarterback. We actually do need a backup quarterback that can actually play because Daniel Jones hasn't finished out a season healthy yet. So the
Sure.
same way Pittsburgh always needs at least a backup quarterback that can play because they know Ben is not going to play 16 games. We need that type of guy, but not somebody that's in their 5th year. We need somebody that's at least in year 7 who the league knows who they are. They know who they are, like Colt McCoy. The league knows he's not a starter. Now know what we ideal, like an Alex Smith type guy.
Yeah.
Or Alex Smith. Now, with Alex Smith playing the way he did for the Redskins this year, if he doesn't come back to the Redskins as a starter or potential starter, he'll go sign someplace else as a backup because he's not going to find another starting job. Like nobody's going to sign Alex Smith and say, "Come be our starter." That's not going to happen.
Sure.
But he'll go back up a shaky quarterback or a quarterback that's injury prone. So maybe Alex Smith, if he comes available, could be our backup quarterback.
By the way, this is
Or
completely random.
Fitzpatrick, but I think Fitzpatrick's staying in Miami. But
Yeah, I think he might stay in Miami. This is completely random because one of y'all brought up Pittsburgh. Popped back into my mind that Mason Rudolph is starting again this week against the Browns, and Myles Garrett is over there rubbing his hands like, "All right, bro, I'm about to get like 6 sacks." But
we were blessed with Eli Manning for 16 years.
back there and he sees a big old target. He's better just go to town on this man.
Jay, what's the next topic, bro?
So that gentleman Joel had a really good point. I know he was talking about Gelman might be thinking O-line and stuff. I wanted to get your guys' take. One of the things I was just thinking about because Will Hernandez is a question mark, and Zeitler, we could cut him to save some cap space. would it be crazy if we got a center in the draft or center in free agency? Move Gates to guard.
Not crazy at all.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right. So here's what I think he's saying. So I was with you for a second, and then you said move Gates. I was thinking I was thinking you were going to go somewhere else. I thought you were going to say keep Gates at center, and then take a guy like, say, Alec Lindstrom later in the draft and move him to guard as an interior offensive lineman as depth in case Hernandez doesn't work out. Yeah. That's where I was thinking. But if you're going to say move Gates, no thanks.
Yeah, but Gates is a center and a guard, though.
I don't like it.
Let me hear what
Diggy.
I was saying I don't want Nick Gates moving away. His potential there is like amazing. He's given up, I think, 1 quarterback hit the entire year. So I don't want him moving from center.
Yeah, he's still developing that center. I would prefer him to stay there. What about you, Marcel?
No, I agree with that, man. Nick Gates has looked nastier and nastier as the season has gone by, and he's been one of the strong points at center. Yeah. So, drafting an offensive tackle at any position for depth, I definitely could see that in the 3rd or 4th round, especially, I mean, like we did this past year.
No, it's going to happen. No, I think we're definitely
I definitely see that. And I can see a shuffle any kind of way, but not like moving Nick Gates from where he's at.
Okay,
unless
it's Hernandez.
Yeah.
But I still think that Zeller is going to be the odd man out. But we're 100%. I think we're going to get an offensive lineman at some point in the draft, or maybe one of the later, maybe even our last. Do we have a 7th round pick this year? Hold up. I'm sure we do. The latest round pick we got. I think we might only have up to.
No, I think we I think we only got 6 picks.
I think we only have the because we traded the 7th for Isaac Yiadom. Which, you know what? Let me ask you guys that.
And we winning with 7th-round picks here.
Would you say that was a good trade?
Yes.
I mean, Isaac Yiadom, he hasn't been the greatest, but we just gave up a 7th for him. So let me go.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We got a yes from Nate. Hearthstone. What about you?
Hey, I say yes. Look, he's looked shaky. He's giving up some plays here and there. He's giving up some penalties. But again, defense is holding teams to under 25 points with a guy that we got for a 7th-round pick. That's playing starter minutes and snaps. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's another Dave Gettleman win.
Diggy?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. He hasn't been the best, but he hasn't been the worst at all. We've seen a lot worse. So you take that out of a 7th-round pick.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Calvin out here saying, he says this to Nate. Yeah. But obviously, I'm going to go around to
I actually just responded in the stream to him.
Yeah, he was like, how can the Giants beat the Cowboys?
I think it's going to depend on, well, 2 things. Most importantly, how does the offense look? Because we're playing a team whose big weakness is the defense. So how does our offense look in opposition to that? Because they can light up some fireworks on the other side of the ball. And then on that other side of the ball, it's going to be how does the man we were just talking about, Isaac Yiadom, doing his role against whoever they match him up with. It hasn't seemed like the Giants are going to shadow guys so much this year. So it's probably going to be James Bradbury on one side, Isaac Yiadom on the other side. So it's going to be how does he fare in his matchups, because he got absolutely roasted against the Ravens in the run game and the pass game. So it's going to be on how he bounces back this week. So we'll see how they can contain that. I'm going to love watching the Darnay Holmes CeeDee Lamb war on the inside. That's going to be
Darnay's back healthy?
What?
Hopefully he's back healthy.
I thought he was back healthy.
He was back last week. He didn't really see the field, which was a sign to me that he wasn't fully healthy. That's why I'm like,
he's going to be back this week. If he's not, that's huge. That's a huge blow to us.
Out of a shout out to Crimson with a Z for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. He says if Will Hernandez is moved to the right side, maybe he'll play better. And I think a lot of people suggested that earlier on in the stream. Will maybe on the right guard side, because Joel Yatter brought up that there was a stat out there saying Andrew Thomas played better with Shane Lemieux at left guard.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that, Jason and Bobby? Because you guys weren't on the panel when that was brought up.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's good. Yeah, like they said on the game, they even brought that up on the game too, that he plays better with Thomas plays better with Lemieux. Yeah.
I know I talked about this, but I want to bring something else up that I didn't say before, which is that early in the year, a lot of people were talking some trash about how the Giants were shuffling their offensive linemen And I was a big fan of that for exactly this reason, because I said when we have a young team that probably isn't going anywhere this year, maybe we will make the playoffs, but let's be real, we are not making a championship run. When you have a young team that is most likely looking to compete next year, this is the time to figure stuff out with your young offensive linemen and figure out who plays best where, figure out where the chemistry is, figure out where who's going to do well where, who's going to do well in their assignments, where double teams work out better, who's great in what side of the field. This is the time to figure that stuff out. And that's why I loved it when they were shuffling. And I was saying, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And now we're starting to find those things. We're starting to see Andrew Thomas plays better with Lemieux. All right, let's see how Will Hernandez does on the right side. Let's see which combinations work. What's going to produce the best results for us when we need to produce the results next year? Because right now we're sort of playing with house money. You know, we weren't meant to be here yet. So this is the time for us to experiment and find out this stuff that's going to be super helpful and super beneficial next year and the year after that.
I will say really quick my response to that: when you're 1-5 or 0-4 or 1-6. Nobody's starting job should be secure. Nobody should be playing full-time snaps because obviously it ain't working. So the shuffle makes sense. Some could say maybe that's why we aren't winning because they're shuffling. But it's like, nah, if we were winning, we wouldn't need the shuffle. So because we're not playing winning football, we need to try some other things out. Like when all else fails, fresh start. So I definitely agree with the shuffling of the line because how we wouldn't have been able to discover the things we discovered had they just rolled the same 6 guys out there and just said, oh, we just want to let them build chemistry all season. Like, nah, maybe it's like a marriage. Maybe they'll never work out. Some people ain't meant to be married. So it's good to know that maybe Andrew Thomas wasn't meant to be married to Will Hernandez next to him. But you know what I mean? Like, maybe his marriage is Shane Lemieux. Maybe live happily ever after on the left side.
Shout out to Mike. He's actually already a member. He just renewed his membership. And shout out to Mike once again. Thank you for continuing to being a member, my guy. I want to say, because Nate brought up the war that was going to happen between Darnay and CD. Now, I expect it to be better this time because the last time they played, Darnay was still, he's still very early on in his career. Darnay is a lot better now than he was in week 5. Last time CD did absolutely 124 yards on his head. CD was the leading receiver that game. What I expect to be good again is Bradbury shutting down Amari because Amari was non-existent that game. And if Bradbury shuts down Amari again and Darnay gets a little bit on CD, we're looking at a sweet game, man. Shout out to AOL for the $2 super chat. He says, "What's your guys' thoughts on Thomas's season?"
That's a big question.
I like it.
I do too.
Broad topic you're asking.
Before you get into the broad topic, let's get the short answers. I like it. I've been a Thomas guy since December of 2019 when we won against Washington. I got no complaints about Andrew Thomas. He's my guy. Let me get Heartstorm.
I think he's muted.
So I will say about Andrew Thomas's season, it was a rookie season.
Yeah, facts.
That's the best way I could say. It was a true rookie season.
But he's been less.
You saw the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then you saw a little bit of grit. And I think if you broke it up, the bad thing was it wasn't a consistent trajectory of ugly, bad, good. It was like ugly, then a little bit of good, then it went back to being bad. Then you saw a couple of flashes of greatness. He had about a good 3-game stretch. Didn't really surrender any pressure. Didn't really surrender any sacks. And then I don't know what happened in the last couple of weeks. So I wish we would have got him at like 10, 15, 12, but I like what I see from him going forward. I'm on board with him. And I think he'll be solid for us. I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame left tackle yet. But I think he's a solid left tackle. And I don't think we'll need to upgrade from him in the next 3 or 4 years. And that's what's important.
Diggy, let me get you.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. He reminds me a lot of Tyron Smith as a rookie. We all remember JPP and Justin Tuck and OC destroying Tyron Smith and him looking horrible. But I think he's just going to continue to get better. He has all of the tools. He just has to just work on his consistency and his hands getting inside consistent. And once he does that, when he puts his hands on people, they don't get around him.
Yeah. He's a
It
lot
will help
better
him
than
practice
Eric
him with Leonard
Flowers.
Williams and them guys every week too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jason, let me get your thoughts on it. And by the way, shout out to Mike for the $5 super chat. Have a good one, bro.
He's the next jersey I want to get.
That's all you got to say, bro.
He's a lot better than Eric Flowers. Remember Eric Flowers?
Should not even be compared. When there was actually articles from New York media comparing him, I was angry. That made no sense to me.
Yeah,
Not
I
even
know.
laughs.
Thank God we got rid of that guy. Eric Flowers. Oh my God, that guy was horrible.
And Nate, I'm gonna let you have a couple minutes here, and let's get it, man.
I promise I'll shut up. I promise. It's a skill I've been working on. Anyway, though, just when you said Eric Flowers, I almost puked. That name gives me.
I know.
Anyway, though, just talking about Thomas again. I talked about this before. When you're looking at players, there's good problems to have and bad problems to have. I don't think any of Andrew Thomas's problems are unsolvable. Because he's getting beat to the outside. He's getting beat to the outside, either steps too hard or steps too early because he's in his head a little bit, I think he's just a little bit trying to guess, trying to anticipate, like a hitter that doesn't quite know what pitch is coming. He's trying to swing before he knows what it is. So I think just give him some time, give him some coaching, let him start to figure out the league a little bit. Let him get a little bit of acquiescence to his situation, and I think we'll be fine. Again, like Hearthstone said, Hall of Famer, probably not. Good, solid franchise left tackle, I think.
Yeah, I do so.
Yeah, and I mean, guys, I'm gonna have to close it out here. This was a great stream. Thank you all.
Yeah, Hubby, you did a great job.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bobby, it was nice
Thank you
meeting
for
Nate,
having me on
Hearthstone,
twice.
Vicky. Nice meeting all you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jay. You're awesome. I like your hair.
Thanks very much. It was a lot of work.
Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Syracuse.
All right, let's go Orange. Yeah, that's my team, Orange.
But yeah, shout out to everybody for being in here. We had over 70 people at peak. Big ups to Nate Talks Giants, Hardstorm, Diggy for tuning in. All great creators in the all rights. Pest was in here earlier. Everybody that called in, love talking to you guys.
Authentic, I see you.
Yeah, Authentic here. Authentic was supposed to eat his dinner and come on. I guess it was a big dinner,
Yeah,
man.
thank you for having me on twice, though. That was nice of you.
No problem, Bobby. It's
You're awesome.
good. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We're gonna be out. Have a good one. Go Giants.
Happy New
Amen.
Year.